to find it on YouTube. It's a common expression everyone uses about their fandom. The fans killed it. You're like, oh, they did they? The fans stopped buying the thing? Is that what happened?
Do they require to always buy the thing?
If there are no fans, then that would be true, but then they wouldn't be fans anymore. So how do fans kill a thing? I want to know that. Aside from taking a thing like, I don't know, like take the incarnation of Mass Effect, very hard science fiction, and then somehow maybe the fans argued or demanded certain things, and now it's soft science fiction, or now it's fantasy, now it's science fantasy or whatever. Like, okay, it killed the original concept of the thing they were a fan of, and now it's something else. That could make more sense. Now, the thing is that transformation could be a good thing. It could be a transition to something better. But it depends on what you're buying into the first time round. So always difficult to figure that out. Anyway, let's get started. Good afternoon, folks, and welcome to Smudcast number 131. Star Wars fans keep on killing Star Wars. It's amazing. It's just Star Wars keeps bouncing back after all those fans keep killing it.
Just keep killing it over and over again.
It won't die. It's like a vampire. Just keep chopping arm off and just grows it back. Like, what the hell? So this is a.
Wait, do vampires grow arms again?
Oh yeah. They reattach them, or magically come back together. I don't know. Depends on the story. Depends on the franchise, but yeah, they come back. So.
And in greater numbers.
Yeah, depends on your fandom. Depends what vampires you like. Depends on how many examples there are of dismemberment of the vampire populace.
Glib.
Oh, it's Glib here.
Glib.
Hello.
Hey.
You're killing Star Wars, Glib.
What?
Well, I'll keep killing it until it actually dies. Yeah, absolutely. I don't care if.
Why are you ruining it for everyone, Glib?
Because it's terrible.
It's a zombie.
And I'm a villain, right? It was ruined for me, so now I have to ruin it for everybody. Isn't that the villain story?
Yeah, it's undead already, and we just have to keep undeading it, so it becomes live again. I think that's the logic. We have to keep killing it.
As somebody with no principles, I just want everybody to be pleased. So let's keep it alive, even if we have to lie about it.
It's a zombie franchise right now. Actually, no, it's not a zombie franchise, but it's not what it used to be. And I think the only hope we have so far is video games, and I think the Mandalorian is popular. Is that still a thing?
Yeah, the Mandalorian's still pretty popular as far as I've seen, at least for the fans.
Mandalorian is like a tech demo, because it's all this virtual stage stuff. It's a faceless protagonist, so they don't need to have their principal actor there every day. They just need the stunt man or the double, just some person in the costume that looks like the main character. And then on top of that, they can just send a team out to get a bunch of photogrammetry or whatever thing they need to do, and then recreate it in a soundstage. So it's like it's very interesting how that people like that over all of the gigantic, expensive productions that have failed to deliver.
The Mandalorian, I have to say,
message coming in.
Even if you have problems with the writing, I think it looks bloody gorgeous. And it has so many shots where it's got so many details in. The rendering looks exquisite, and it's obviously like jaw-dropping almost.
It's made by really talented people that have a lot of, and if the untalented people still have a lot of experience, and it's done on cutting edge technology. So it makes sense why that works. However, the story bores me, and I don't like the show. I just understand why it works.
I think a good way to explain the Mandalorian, it is every episode is filler. Pretty much every episode. It's like, oh look, the Mandalorian's gonna go on an adventure today, when he should be doing what the fuck he's supposed to be doing. Oh look, in the middle of transit, he's gonna crash, and then he's gonna get there, and then the people there need him to go on another quest, and then he gets on another quest because he can't go finish his new quest, and then he continues on his quest, but then that's where the story's ending so far.
I wouldn't know.
Tune in next week to see where he gets into another kerfuffle.
I see.
And he has to go on another adventure where he can't quite go to his objective, but he's got another objective to complete, completely separate.
So it's
almost like Mass Effect, like 2, where we need to attack you need to stop the Reapers, you need to stop the Collectors. But I'm just gonna wander over to the Citadel. I'm gonna have a drink. I'm gonna just casually walk over here and have some chat. But we're against time. We've got to stop them. But yeah, we really don't want to go about this in any kind of rushing way.
So there is a plot. It sounds like I haven't watched this show, so I can't say what's so great about it. But it sounds like
there's a plot, but it's just a lot of filler. That's one of my main issues with the story. So
everyone's in a helmet. Everyone's replaceable. There's no central group of characters. There's all these new guys popping up. It's a big galaxy. So it's like, yay, fun.
Essentially, my criticism is get on with it.
Oh, that's not good. All right. Well, put it that way. We got a 30-minute video to go through. The first 10 minutes, this is pretty slow. So he's just introducing himself and what he did previously. So
it's a bunch of disclaimers. I was watching a little bit of it before we went on.
So who?
G'day, mate. Oh, yeah, I got a yell about everything, mate. Oh, get a paddock off the barbie. Oh.
So Joe Crazy, sup guys? Who is this schmuck? This is David Lee Down Under. He's about a 73,000 sub YouTuber. He is talking about a previous video on the same topic, and this is a response so far that I've seen to John Talk Star Wars, the guy who has his own channel specifically dedicated to Star Wars conversations, where he replies to that video. So this is a response to that video, which is a response to another video he made. Okay?
Exactly, yeah.
Oh boy. All right.
Makes sense.
It's a tismatic mess.
Yeah, I know. This is what we voted on. This is what we're doing. Okay.
What democracy looks like. Star Wars.
G'day guys, Dave Lee coming at you once again from
I'm gonna turn down the audio.
An editorial video.
G'day mate, kangaroos,
How Star Wars fans killed Star Wars. I'm assuming that if you have been following my channel for quite a while, you have most likely seen this video. If you haven't seen it, I'm going to leave a link down the bottom that you can go and check it out before you watch this. So if you just kind of want an idea of what I'm talking about here. This is a video that has actually been received very well. This is my 4th most viewed video of all time at this moment, and
did we cover this one?
Quite a bit of positive interaction.
I can't remember. I don't know.
Of course,
I remember
the
action figure and someone breaking it.
There is a lot of negative interaction as well.
Let's go back.
Oh my God, they disagree. With sound effects.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that some of the fans out there kind of weren't too happy with the video that I put together. I want to say,
saying that the fans killed the franchise, I can't imagine why that wouldn't go well.
To divide a fan base, it's not a video that I intended to incite more rage or incite abuse, harassment, not only of myself, but again to the filmmakers and other fans. This was never designed to be a springboard for people's hateful comments. This is an editorial video, which means I'm just basically going back through the facts and kind of talking about a little bit of the history of the Star Wars franchise, why I believe the franchise has wound up where it is now in the hands of Disney, and we can trace that back to fan backlash that started happening around the mid to late 1990s and continued on for a couple of decades. Basically left George Lucas a broken man and led to him selling the Star Wars franchise off. So this is kind of my exploration.
He's a broken man.
Do you know that for a fact? Maybe he's just pissed off a little bit that people didn't like it or get it. Or maybe he felt like he fucked up a little bit. How do you know? Has he ever said it to anybody?
Yeah,
no.
Why would he act that way?
I think the only reason we know that he didn't make his own sequel trilogy is because it would take another 10 years, and he wanted to enjoy life with his family. He just had a daughter at the time, so that's the reason why he didn't make another sequel trilogy. I know he didn't like the backlash from the fans. He especially didn't like Red Letter Media's take. I think he called them cinematically illiterate.
Do you know that?
he was heavily inferring.
You know, that if it was red letter media, see, I don't know if that's what I'm saying is I would need more information about that.
Well, just compare this to JJ and Ryan Johnson's reaction to people.
He specifically mentioned YouTube channel, also not a specific YouTube channel, but YouTube critics.
Sure, but compare this to our current directors, right? They don't give a crap about what other people think. Now, why is that? Maybe George takes it personally. Maybe he actually agrees with some criticisms. Maybe he realized he screwed up. He didn't do the best job he could. There's lots of reasons why you would agree with your critics, or why you don't want to do something that you're not completely vested in. So, and of course, we know the reason is because he wanted to spend time with his daughter. And that's a totally normal reaction to, dedicating yourself to like 6 years of painstaking, meticulous detail of $1 billion industry, or franchise rather. So there's lots of reasons and why you wouldn't want to do something like this again. But I think it's a combination of all that. It's not just one thing. So, what is this? Foot Clan 004? I want to see David Down Under and Anomaly Inc. duke it out in an Australian death battle. Oh.
That'd be good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Anomaly Inc.'s pretty good. That'd be funny. God, this is going to be a pain in the Down Under. Yes, it is, Joe. It's long video.
On that. And I guess that the one thing that I wanted to get out of this was a dialogue between fans. I wanted to create sort of like a conversation.
Oh, bullshit. Star Wars fans are killing Star Wars. You want a conversation? Are you... Probably not the best way is to attack an entire group of people. Say, let's have a normal conversation, guys. Like,
what does that mean?
I don't know. When I make a criticism video about fans, my goal is not to have the fans have a good conversation with themselves. I want them to attack me because I'm attacking them. Give me your best shot. What is the thing that I'm wrong about? List it in the comments. I will happily engage. But even then, that probably wouldn't be very wise if you want an actual good, reasonable reaction. Because you're going to get all the defenders. You're going to get the people like the Goldman, who doesn't have time to talk to us in a normal format of just a bunch of fans talking about the thing they love. No, he's going to critique a Mahler video because he now suddenly has time. So all these fans that sound reasonable will not engage. They will attack. And they'll say, "Oh, I'm just a fan just like you. I didn't make my video to list things that are evil or mean. No, I want everyone to get along." And showcase.
I'm down to have one of those conversations, but those aren't the claims that are being made or the claims that are being contested. They're like, you're watching movies wrong. I want to have a conversation. That's
yeah,
just
and
dismissive.
we were just lucky that John fellow was not. Well, first he was a nice guy, so he was like, "Yeah, I'll just talk to you." 2, he was reasonable and logical, so he was open to listening. And 3, he we had a good, decent conversation. It wasn't a big deal. It was about 4 hours of just talking to the guy. So that was normal, and that was that. We didn't have to go any further. We didn't have to argue point by point, although we could have. But that was not the point of the whole conversation anyway. So, and that's why we're never gonna get these people who are gonna debate us, because it's all subjective to them. It's all just, I like this, and I don't care if it's flawed. It's just this is my cup of tea. Everything else is just nitpicks and plot holes I don't care about, which demeans the whole point of a story, of evaluating something critically.
Where people, okay, well, I don't necessarily think that this is true because of this and this and this and this. And then someone else can go, well, I think it is true because of this and this and that. But again, this being the internet, people haven't been so level-headed. There have been people shouting stuff like, "You're a you idiot, you are for liking."
If you're accusing someone of destroying a franchise almost baselessly, and you have no evidence, I think it's pretty reasonable for them to be upset at you. I mean, I don't think it helps towards the conversation at all, and you should try and stay level-headed. But it's an understandable reaction that if you're going to almost insult someone and make accusations, that aren't true, maybe they would. It is a logical assumption to assume that someone would get upset about that.
Yeah, it's the same with any other franchise. I've never been accused, or people like me or critics of like BioWare, of destroying BioWare. That's ridiculous.
BioWare fucking destroyed themselves.
They imploded.
No, it was the fans that just didn't like Andromeda, you jerk.
Yeah, it's an amazing game.
You're a
It's an amazing
jerkhead.
game.
Fans destroyed BioWare Montreal.
You didn't buy it and just like it, and that's the problem. And how dare you say all these bad things and at people on Twitter? That's harassment. How dare you say you're gay on Twitter?
Now, there's actually a logical correlation with that, because if I said I boycott Andromeda, well, you're not supporting BioWare. It's like, I don't want to. I don't want to spend money on a game I'm not interested in, or media I don't care about, like comic books and other books that are crap.
You're not a real fan unless you buy everything.
I know. Buy every media out there.
I ate 5 Big Macs just so that I could find all the Pokemon cards.
Oh God, no!
I'm
What
a
was
real
that?
fan.
Find them all.
What was the Mass Effect Andromeda limited edition that didn't even have the game? It just had the toy car, that RC.
It's just a case.
It's retarded. Like, why would anyone spend money on that? You spent $150 or whatever it was. No game.
Oh, I bought the new game, and I've got the Legendary Edition, and I open it up, it's like, where the fuck's my game? Oh, but then joke's on them, they actually got a better offer by not getting the game. See, maybe the developers were trying to save people from buying their shitty game.
Here's a toy car.
Here's a car. Have much more fun with it than you will have with our game.
Maybe we should go into remote control.
I don't want a fucking... whatever that car was in Andromeda. I want a fucking Mako. That thing's badass.
An APC tank that can climb up 45-degree inclines or whatever it was. That's
Well, we're not talking about the gameplay here. Just in terms of looks, the Mako is a gorgeous
Message coming
design.
in. Patching it through.
well, it was.
I mean, maybe not so functional when the turret can't aim down, but at the same time, it looks awesome.
I wouldn't say that Mass Effect is ugly or unattractive or whatever, but I wouldn't say I enjoy the aesthetics.
I love the aesthetics of Mass Effect, especially the Normandy SR2 with the blue color scheme in Mass Effect 3.
I would not want to live in that universe. It doesn't have enough pizzazz to me.
I would fuck that ship. Don't judge.
Okay then, Joe
I'm
Crazy.
judging you right now.
How dare you not consume those turds we pump out? Yeah, I know.
Oh, I remember there was actually someone who had an argument about Mass Effect 3's ending's perfect, and you're just haters. It was Space Dock. Space Dock claimed that the ending to Mass Effect was perfect, and the reason why it was perfect is because there is no choice.
I am a hater, though.
Choice-driven game.
I never said I wasn't a hater. I've always been a hater. I hate a lot of shit because it's bad. I'm a snob. I don't know. What do you want me to say?
Oh God, I remember that Space Dog video. Oh no, I'm quite sure I covered that. Oh,
why is he filming in what looks like a corridor?
Yeah, it's probably his room.
He's talking in the hallway, mate.
Why is
Like
his
Star
room
Wars.
so small?
It's my Star Wars hallway, mate. Here, get out of here. Just a hater.
In this movie, you piece of go die, kill yourself. You're a soy boy if you like this movie. People have gone crazy. I mean, this is the thing that I'm trying to spotlight in this video, is how this fandom can be so toxic, so horrible to the creators.
Be so horrible
and
to
the
someone
other
who's accusing them of
fans.
killing a
My aim in this video is to
franchise.
put a spotlight on that and make people go, okay, well maybe we have been too harsh.
You can.
What does
there
that
are
mean?
times-
Am I supposed to just like not dislike something intensely? Wow, I hate what you've done with the place. What am I supposed to do there?
But don't you understand that someone is allowed to not like something? Funnily enough,
Not
you know,
sure about that
because
anymore.
it's like
You're allowed to
things can
dislike
frustrate
it,
people.
you can't talk about
If something is terrible, even a good video, a film, if a video is even accusing you of something and their arguments are very frustrating, that causes people to be frustrated, and it's completely understandable. I would understand if I made a video talking about, I don't fucking know, people who like Star Trek Discovery, and I was shitting all over them. And I was like, oh well, you know what? Funnily enough, those people would be quite upset if I just started doing that.
Apparently, people that produced Star Trek Discovery have been listening to the fans. They've been updating things and changing things over the episodes. Apparently, some characters look better, sound better. There's more references. There's more links to things regarding lore, which is fine. I mean, I'm not saying you shouldn't use lore, but it's kind of a strange callback when you're doing things new and you're rebooting stuff, and then you're saying, no, it's actually part of this universe. Just a retelling of the same stuff, which I just don't grasp. But so I guess they're reaching out.
They're basically just throwing in references because they've been accused of not knowing the law. But everything else, which is still law breaking, is still fucking in there. They haven't removed it, and then it's still keeping the really horrible dystopian future that Discovery has. It doesn't gel like tonally or thematically. It's like it doesn't even belong in Star Trek.
That's why I still hope it's part of the dark universe, even though they've said it wasn't. It's like, oh,
yeah, they've already had the mirror universe, so there can't be another mirror universe.
Well, they technically could. I mean, I don't see why not.
Another mirror in a mirror.
How screwed up can we get it? I don't know. Yeah. Well, I'm just saddened by the lack of... Well, actually, no, Season 5 of The Expanse started up, or is starting up, is it next month? I can't recall.
I don't know, but I didn't even think that Season 4 would come out that fast. Now that Season 5 is coming out, I'm like, wow, okay, this show is, I guess, begrudgingly the best sci-fi show on television involving space, or even just in general. Pretty impressive, even though I have problems with it.
I have problems with it too, especially, I can't remember where it was exactly, but there was a point where they just kind of dropped all the plot that the season had been building towards, and then they all of a sudden just go through the gateway to other planets, and then that planet's not really a planet.
About that. I was glad that they got out of it, because the proto-molecule is the most boring thing in the world.
No, but we're talking about... I wasn't talking about the proto-molecule. I was caring more about like the politics between France and not France, Mars and Earth. It's like, what the fuck am I going to this? France.
Johnny wants to invade France.
So England, and
England versus France.
The
2021.
Earth versus Mars. I like the politics there, and I like the conflict, which has kind of gone away at that point. And then you also have the conspiracy. And the conspiracy was also the interesting part of the show. And then they just said, oh, it was all got solved. Just wiping it all away. Almost just like, oh, okay. That wasn't a very satisfying conclusion to that. I know the proto-molecule was the weakest part, but I wasn't talking about the proto-molecule. I was talking about the conspiracy stuff.
Right, no, to me, the proto-molecule was the thing that took away from the intrigue plot about all of the space politics, because that was the most interesting thing, was space politics and tech advancement and the motivation behind these slightly different they're almost different species of human beings, you know what I mean? They're just so drastically different, especially in the book. So that was interesting. Then introducing the proto-molecule, which is like the R2-D2, it's the MacGuffin, and you can just do whatever's expedient for the plot. Then it opens up these gates, and now we're going to this other planet. I'm so bored of the proto-molecule as a MacGuffin and as a thing. I just want to go back to, what is Mars going to do? What is Earth going to do? What is the belt going to do? Because that's the real interesting part of it, like you were saying. So hopefully they work their way back from that, because now that there's the exoplanets or whatever, maybe it won't be so much about space monster, sci-fi, and a bunch of...
they've already established that... Mars doesn't have spirit anymore, because they've spent all this time transforming Mars, and there's perfectly habitable planets that they can just give up on Mars and go to them. And that was a plot that was in the last season.
This is why I'm saying it's begrudgingly the best on television, because it has so many problems. It's like, well, but I still want to see where it goes from here, because those... the characters and the organizations in it still have a relatively solid factional basis. So like there's still going to be Martians and they're still going to have Martian traits. It's just that they're going to be more like exo Martians. You know what I mean? They're going to be migrants. They're going to have the same personalities and the same quirks, but they're going to be doing it for this other planet or for this frontier. So now it's a frontier TV show. So I don't know how that's going to go. I don't know if it's going to be good, but I like that we're getting away from the space magic goop that can be manipulated into
the space goo.
I hate
the goop.
I do miss.
It's like the goo from Alien.
No.
Yep.
It reminds, any scene where there's a reason for Shohreh Aghdashloo to swear and shoot people, I think is pretty important to me. So,
Tom Jane was my favorite part of the show too, and that
oh yeah,
he hasn't been on it in a while. So
yeah, that's true. He's pretty cool. That entire first season was really good with him, and the end of second season.
Yeah. The Grigas in the water.
That felt almost like Neuromancer or like a watered down, like cleaned up Neuromancer. And that was my favorite part, was like just the little interactions and the real people. I thought Anderson Dawes was an amazing charismatic character that came off the page by that actor, because I was like, wow, that guy really feels like he could be the leader. Like he has this anarchistic society down on every level. He's involved in the underworld, which is really strong, and he's also got this leader complex that people recognize, so they would put their faith in him. I get that, and that there would be like a racial element to it too, which I thought was interesting. How they didn't trust Fred Johnson, who was an Earther, because they saw him as an Earther first. I thought that was fascinating. Like, give me more of the human element and less of the alien spooky stuff, because the whole show is interesting scientifically and technologically, because it's almost like it's a realistic or authentic style of space travel. If you're going to bother to do all that, don't have the magic space goop. It is contemporary hard science fiction. It's kind of a strange blend of what if 100 years from now we could do this. It's like, oh yeah, well, this is how physics would work. There'd be no difference. It's just we have better tech. That's it. So
yeah,
I like that element. Anyway, let's keep going. Foot Clan 004. Plot twist, David thinks Anita S. is a true fan. I hope that's a joke. I don't. I can't.
What, where?
It's never a joke, mate.
Oh, God.
Who, what, where, why?
Don't worry. Don't even think about it.
Let's pull back on that a little bit. But the comments thread on this video has really just turned into nothing more than a proof of what I'm trying to say about this fandom and the state that this fandom has found itself.
I have insulted people. People are upset.
The comments
that means
have
it's
proven
proof
things
that
to
they're
me.
destroying the fandom.
It's so frustrating, because like that means you can't be emotive about your criticism, is what they're saying, unless you're positive about it. Then you can geek out. You can't geek out.
I mean, you should try and not get angry, because that's exactly what people like this want. They want you to be angry. But at this point, if I say, okay, I go over to you and punch you in the face, and you get angry about that, obviously that's your fault that you're angry about that, because I never did anything. I just punched you in the face. Now you're angry. Why are you angry?
It's like you walk up to somebody and go, hey, did you have like an imaginary friend that you used to play with, or like a game that you used to play with your friends? And like, yeah, totally. What was that? That was Jimmy or whatever. Yeah, Jimmy grew up and then he was a total pathetic loser, and then he died. You're like, what? No, that's not what happened to my imaginary friend when I was a kid. You're a fucking asshole. That's basically what the fictional equivalent is happening to all of our heroes. It's been, Luke Skywalker is now a bitter old man who throws away his father's lightsaber.
We're talking about the context of him going out attacking the fans and then saying, oh, well, the fans are upset with me.
I know, I'm just saying that what is the metaphor to me about what is happening to our heroes, especially like Luke Skywalker, and what's happening in movies like Star Wars, is that they are writing fan fiction that is anti-fan fiction. They're writing fiction that makes us have a negative response to it. That's what Rian Johnson's mission statement seems to have been. He set out to just anywhere there could be an insult to the fans' emotional, their emotions, how they would respond to looking at something like, oh yeah, what happened to Han Solo? Oh, he died. What happened to Leia? Oh, she died. What happened to Luke? Oh, he died. What happened to Admiral Akbar? Oh, he died. Who's left? Oh, Wedge for 5 seconds, and what else? Is Nien Nub dead? Is he still alive?
Chewie's still there.
Don't know.
Random background characters, and then the Wookiee. That's all.
But Glib, we got the gays in the background. That's all we need, right? They had a gay kiss.
I love it. I didn't even notice characters I didn't care about when I was a kid that I came back to see as a legacy that you're banking your title on, because it's all about a new generation, right?
There's different ways to introduce people who are children or new characters in a story than not having to kill off other older characters. So
hey, remember this character that your parents loved when they were kids? I'm gonna kill it, and you're gonna enjoy it, or not. I don't care as long as you buy the ticket.
I thought you were gonna do a Goofy expression there. That would have improved your.
Goofy's like, I'm taking over for Mickey now. Give me your money. I can't do Goofy really well.
That being said, there has been one reply to this video that has stood out to me. And this actually comes in the form of a video reply, like a video reaction kind of thing. It's by a guy named John Talks Star Wars. He's got a channel where he just talks about Star Wars stuff. And he actually did a video reply to my video. Here's just a little clip from the beginning of John's reaction.
I just watched a video by Dave Lee Down Under. And I have to say, it's a really well put together video. It's a really well put together argument. And the title of his video is How Star Wars Fans Killed Star Wars. And I just respectfully disagree with him. His assessment that it's the fans' fault and it's ultimately the fans that killed Star Wars, I don't believe that's fair.
Okay, so first up, I have to say to John, thank you so much for putting together this video. Though you don't agree with me, that's completely fine. I have said so many times in my videos and in my comment feeds that I don't mind if people have a different opinion to me. No two people are ever going to agree 100%. There is nothing wrong with criticism. There's nothing wrong with having a difference of opinion.
Two people can't agree 100%?
I agree with him 100%.
I agree with you 100% that people can't agree 100%. There you go.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely.
That's fine.
That same was like, what?
Yeah, that's fine.
Opinion as you can talk about that in a mature way. And what John has...
In a mature way, by saying an entire fan base is destroying the thing they're fanning over.
You're killing it, dude.
You're not loving it the way I love it.
You're a bad guy. Yes, I am.
Displayed here is someone who has really watched my video and watched it a couple of times and really said to himself, you know what, I'm going to try and comprehend what he's saying and take it on board. And John, what you have done is you have delivered a very level-headed and very mature response to my video. And I have to thank you for that, because even though you do disagree with most of or all of what I'm saying, you have enough pride to be able to do what I wanted to get out of this video, and that is to give me a response in a level-headed manner and go, well, you know what? I disagree with you, and this is why.
How does that have anything to do with pride? Wouldn't that be the opposite? If you're prideful, you'd be not humble. You'd be like, you're wrong, I'm right. What are you talking about, you moron? Pride would cause you to think yourself correct and everyone else wrong, or the other person wrong. Mm-hmm. So maybe he just messed up his characteristic. I don't know, but I think I know what he's trying to say.
And I respect that and I appreciate that. What I'm going to do here, John, is I always say on my channel that if someone is willing to give up their time for me, I am always willing to give my time back to them in return. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just kind of play little snippets from your video and just kind of react to it and kind of put my 2 cents in, give you a rebuttal to your rebuttal. Now, I agree with a lot of what you're actually saying in this. There are a few things that I don't necessarily agree with.
This I don't understand. If you agree with him and you respect him and everyone's chummy, who's wrong? You can't both be right. someone has to come. Someone has to give up and say, "Oh yeah, I agree with you, and I'm wrong on this point." You can't just say you can't just say, "Glib, you're 100% right," which means I'm also 100% right. That's not how it works.
I agree with you. I also agree with you. You make good points. You also make good points. Good, congratulations.
It's such a strange.
We don't know. We haven't seen the original video, or at least I don't think we have. So we can't know for sure if he did make good arguments. But I'm guessing he didn't. Just a wild stab in the dark. Call it a lucky guess.
Can you ever argue a fandom unless there is a fandom person who then infiltrates the fandom or the creators and say, I want to create the thing I love. I know everything about the fandom. Let me be a writer. Let me be an artist, whatever. And they go, okay. And he has such an influence, such a creative influence on everything that you can say, oh, this is a member of the fandom, like a personification of the fandom, which is like, I don't know, take your crazy Star Wars fan who will watch the trailer 200 times and watch the movie like 30 times in theaters. You know, they're this obsessive person, and they go, hey, I love everything Star Wars. I want to be part of it. I'm going to study. I'm going to be practicing, and as a writer or as a director, I want to film this. I want to do that. And they get in, and then they screw things up. Now, we could argue Rian Johnson is one of those characters, but I really don't think he personifies the kind of passionate fan that we've seen from the Star Wars community. And I really don't think he's one of those guys. I think everyone appreciated Star Wars as a kid. You grew up with it in some capacity, and you respect it. It's like, oh, it's a cool science fiction, shooty, cool thing, movie series. That was about it. I don't think he was one of those hardcore guys like, this is my childhood, this is what I loved. I wish I could do something with this. I wish I could grow up making movies, same as ones I saw. I don't see that. So that would be an argument that you could say, yes, this is a fan, and he screwed it up. But then you wouldn't say the fandom. You would say what the fandom produced, or what the movies produced in a fan, and that individual then went on to make The Last Jedi or what have you.
And let's just talk about this. Let's do it. So
I'm somewhat indifferent about the prequels in terms of I don't have this deep-seated animosity or hatred towards George Lucas for the prequels, but I did watch the prequel trilogy recently. To me, it just didn't age really well, and I think a lot of it was the CGI.
I don't think it's about aging well. I think it in order for it to not age well, it has to be, I don't know, it's at least somewhat it would have to get worse over time. And I don't think people have thought worse of the prequels over time. I think there have actually been more prequel defenders coming up over time.
It would be an element of maturity and intelligence of the times. I mean, let's say 1,000 years from now, we're like, I don't know, living on the moon or what have you, and we'd see this thing like, okay, I can understand it as a period piece from 1,000 years ago, but holy crap, did that age poorly. We would never have weapons of light or ships that design because of aerodynamics or what have you. So that would be aging well based off design, communication, language, all sorts of things like that. You'd see that. Same way the old Star Trek doesn't age well because the sets are so poorly set up. There's not enough budget. The aliens look crazy, ridiculous. So it's a bunch of things.
You have to just give in to that.
Yeah, I know. I totally understand willing suspension of disbelief for.
But some people are like that. Some people can do that for Star Wars, and I don't understand them, but I do understand that they could do that. You know what I mean? I don't understand how they do that. How you can ignore certain aesthetic issues, but at the same time, I do, I guess, from their perspective when I watch the old Star Trek, even though I recognize it and go, wow, that is some metal grating from 1945 on a spaceship, you know, that's supposed to be in someone's house, you know, for their air conditioner duct. That's the metal.
Those are the practical effects. I think the majority of us can forgive what they were handed, what they had to work with. But some of the episodes, you know, like, okay, why is Spock playing a sitar? What is going on there? Why is there suddenly a show dedicated to everyone being free and escaping your world and going to Eden and calling everyone self brother? And it's like, what is going on? Is this the flower power generation? Oh, it is. It is the 70s. Okay, I get it. So, or the 60s rather. So that is understood. We're like, all right, symbol of the times. That's what people thought. Cool, whatever. But practical effects, I mean, it's like, all right, fine. That's another ball game. It's the dialogue. It's the setups. It's the plots, which we know did not work the first time around. They'll never work 20 years from now, 30 years from now. We know the flaws. We know the problems. We know I wouldn't say bad acting, just silly ways of delivering those lines. Whether or not that was
sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere.
I think it's the romance stuff, that really irks me.
The thing probably lives or dies on its writing and characters, not its aesthetics. But the aesthetics will date it and make it so that less people will have suspension of disbelief in the verisimilitude sense, the subliminal sense.
Yeah.
Hey, voice.
Hi, guys.
What's going on, man?
You gonna sing us another tune?
Oh no.
No, I'm just a little drunk.
Oh. Now
You're just pouring alcohol into your speakers.
That's right. Hello.
Hey.
All right. Well, we got a long
How
night.
is this man?
This man on the screen is John. He's fine.
John talks Star Wars.
But we're not covering him. We're covering a response to that video.
He's getting huge hits on his channel nowadays because of the election. So congratulations.
Oh, you're kidding.
John Talks.
Congratulations.
Why does John talk Star Wars talk about the elections?
Yeah.
Well, it's not the only thing that he does. He talks Star Wars, but then
his channel's called Talk Star Wars.
I know, but this John. If you just
But
look
it's
up
called
John
Talk
Talks.
Star Wars.
Yeah, but if you look,
It's called Talk Star Wars.
Yeah,
it's
mate.
called
But if you
false
look,
advertising.
if
It's
you
false
fucking look,
advertising.
mate.
If
But
you don't
all right, just wait, mate.
Oh dear. Yeah, I was about to do a video on the whole thing. I don't know if you guys saw the Rudy Giuliani press conference yesterday.
Yeah, he's always entertaining.
You might want to watch it for all sorts of reasons. So
Yeah, he's great.
Just
He's sweating.
just
his hair
attack
dye.
the
That's
crap out of everyone talking to. It's like, holy jeez, calm down.
Fake news.
I hate you all. You're all horrible. I'm like, whoa. Joe Crazy. Those bad prequel lines will live forever in memes. This is true. For the wrong
Yeah,
reason.
that is true.
Yeah.
It is amazing how many memes we've got
Message
out of
coming in.
prequels.
Patching it through.
Like even something random like the archives are incomplete is a meme which is constantly repeated still to this day.
Every single thing in it is memeable.
Will the archives ever be complete?
No.
Will we ever be whole as individuals?
No, never.
Ah, cool.
Yeah. Sorry. Maybe when we die, I don't know.
I'll drink to that.
Pretty bad. But I will say this about the prequels. There is a storyline there. The characters do have
I made
story
my own
arcs.
sherry.
And there is a progression
nice.
from episode...
No, you didn't.
I did.
No, that's not. That takes years.
Okay, I put alcohol in a fucking bucket, and 5 months later, here we are.
Really?
Boys,
There you
how many
go.
have you had?
That's what it is.
Oh, God.
Bucket alcohol for the Tin Man.
That sounds healthy.
Yes. I don't know. My intention was sherry, but I
Okay.
also have slow gin as well.
Have you accidentally
already
made
till
like moonshine?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the good stuff.
Yes.
I think after
You know the old buckets they used to put RO water in for fish tanks? This is one of them.
I don't know what you're talking about. Buckets.
I have a fish tank, everyone.
Okay. I
Now
was
we
No
know what you use
fish
it
in it.
for.
I was
There's sherry.
I was hoping
It's all sherry.
I
I have
was
a fish tank full of sherry.
I was
You just dunk your Radiohead in there occasionally. And
I
just
was-
drink it all up.
hoping for for a
Nom, nom.
demijohn maybe, but not a bucket. Like, what the hell are you talking about? Okay. All right. Well, whatever works for you, sir.
Don't question the wisdom of the radio.
Oh God. I think I almost
Makes
lost my
wine underneath the
mind
basement like a real Italian.
when we were watching Life is Strange. And Honey, what would
By
you
the way,
like to drink? Sherry.
I didn't mean sherry. I didn't mean sherry. I meant cherry beer.
Gotcha.
You made cherry beer, okay.
I said sherry. Cherry.
How drunk are you?
Holy
Well, you
Jesus.
certainly made alcohol.
Yes.
Are you sure it's-
Cheers. Let's continue.
Are you sure it's
onward,
not
friends.
a Krug, a German sherry alcohol or liqueur? That would explain a few more things. Or Kirsch? No? Okay, never mind. Let's just keep going. Never mind. Stop talking about food. We'll stop.
1
delicious.
to F3, and in it you see the rise and the fall of Anakin Skywalker. And
I have to
granted,
go
I
and
don't
watch the
necessarily
other
like
film.
the aesthetics of the film. I don't like all the computer-generated imagery, but I will give the
you
prequels
go.
that. But I would say the backlash against George Lucas for doing the prequels was warranted.
Okay, so what I'm going to say to that, John, is
All right,
that I say this all the time. There's
That is
always
a
difference
narrow room
between
this man is in.
critique and
Yes.
backlash.
Star Wars
what a lot
hallway.
of fans of not just this fandom, but a lot of fandoms out there do is that they can't seem to find the difference between the two. A lot of these people are...
I think we're
Why
pretty
is
good.
the door handle so high up on that door?
That's a good question.
It's because in Australia they're all upside down.
Very
and
long
so they stand
doors.
on their roof, and then if you're standing on the roof, that's now at normal height.
But then you only have half the door to climb through because
It's-
it doesn't reach the roof.
Well, the problem is that the door was made in
What fucking room
China.
is this?
It was made in China, so they
This is the-
didn't do it very well.
This is the most narrow room I've ever seen.
See, they
Does
made
it
a
get
house
bigger?
and they cut it into 3 parts and they put walls, so all the doors and hallways are very tiny.
He just lives in like this giant long corridor.
He just lays down on the floor and that's his bed.
So what he was saying was that there's fans who cannot see, they cannot be bipartisan. They can't see the other side very well. I think we see both sides very well, actually. I think we understand the other side very well. And
Actually,
I'm not saying we're perfect, but we can easily pick apart their points. We can easily see where they're flawed, and we can easily see where they're right. So there's not a problem with us of not understanding the other side, or fans who hate the thing or love the thing. It's those who are defending it, and they cannot accept the criticism. They cannot accept objective facts or use logic or even bother to attempt to use logic because their perfect view of their experience would be changed in some way. So that is where I see their bias, and our bias is either not caring enough because like we're tired of listening to this crap, or we're too accepting. We're like, hey, come on over. Come talk to us. We're very nice about these things. And we just get tired of asking so many times while they're sniping at us, saying we don't understand them, we're just haters, yada, yada. So it's...
Yeah, I remember when I joined the Smudcast, I was like, yeah, I'm excited for debates. Let's go talk to some people. Let's talk to them. And then we just kept getting sniped at and turned down. It's like, I don't really care anymore.
Yeah.
I'm still down.
That's killed my enthusiasm a bit.
Well, I just watched, was it a few minutes of the Goldman yesterday, and I was like, oh, God, this is pointless. He's debating himself while listening to Mahler.
Was that the one where he was talking about what subjectivity was? Or was that a
No,
different thing?
no, this was a live stream yesterday, and it was just pointless. It was like,
We rated the stream.
really?
I
You rated
understand.
it. You rated it.
So what we did was after me and LitDev, well, I watched LitDev play Life is Cringe.
Yes.
I said to everyone, Goldman's doing a live stream. We're going to rate it. So everyone jump
Rate
in
in
the
the
voice chat.
TOS.
We had
Rate
about, I think, 16 people in total who came in and out. Maybe at most we had 8 at a time. And we all
What a
essentially
jerk.
what we did was we at one time we would
He's
say
admitting
one
his crimes on
single
camera right now.
one single message, and we all
Crimes
said
against nature and itself and the internet.
something like "hello there," or we would say "you're out a bold one." So we basically as a 3, 2, 1, and everyone said that. So his chat just filled up with "hello there," a lot of it. And then we would give it a break, okay, not rate it too much, and then just in a minute say "hello there" again.
He's a virtual warlord.
Mm.
Oh, dear. Joe Crazy. Still waiting for that Jesse gender debate. Oh, God.
It's never coming. We're jerks. We are the worst. and probably racist. I don't know. Anything could happen,
1900 and frozen to death.
Yeah. Okay.
Bad things. We are all the bad things that they tell us automatically.
Jesse Jenner's got some guns. What?
Message coming in.
Real guns? Oh dear.
Patching it through.
Is she American? I think so.
I sure hope so.
Oh, well, so do I. If we're talking about real guns, yeah.
It's a civic duty to have guns.
A lot of these people are abusing and harassing fans and filmmakers because they didn't like the movie. And they're doing this because they feel like this is going to have an effect, that it's going to get the filmmakers' attention and pull the filmmakers' heads in and go, you know what, we're doing something wrong. All in all, this is just really doing the complete opposite. This is just making people turn a blind eye and go, you know what, I'm not going to listen to them, because why reason with someone who's just going to abuse you and harass you? And again, what George Lucas said, he said, if these people are just going to be abusing me and harassing me no matter what I do, why do I want to keep making movies for them? And this is what Disney's going to do. They hear this massive backlash of people yelling at people and shouting, sending death threats and telling people they're horrible people and they should go rot in hell and all this stuff because they made a movie, a piece of entertainment. These people aren't going to listen to them. They are going to go, well, let us.
They're going to say, fuck you, mate.
What we're doing.
I'm in a hallway.
To appreciate it and be entertained by it. Okay, critique is welcome. And again, John, you have proven that you are able to give a level-headed and mature critique.
You're not even capable of criticism, you bloody idiot.
This. I'm going to be putting a link down the bottom, I should say, to John's entire video if you want to go and check out what he has to say, because his entire video, he has some really, really good things to say about the franchise and the quality of the movies, etc., etc. So go and check it out. And this is the kind of thing that's needed. It's critique is needed, no matter what the film, no matter how good or how bad the movie. Critique is needed, but it needs to be done in like a mature kind of way. Backlashing against a movie, showing hatred and just abusing people, yelling at people, swearing at people, that's not the way to do it. So in that respect, the backlash towards George Lucas was not warranted. There was no need for people to get so personal, so intense. If you want to have your
what example? What are you talking about?
If you're gonna say a fan, please calm down. I think you're defeating the point of calling them a fan in the first place. Fans are intrinsically passionate about the thing they like, so that's not going to help much. I think he says, I want to hear good arguments from people who aren't emotional. Then you're not going to listen to a fan. You're going to listen to a critic or something like that, I guess.
But I don't understand, because not everyone reacts the way that he's depicting them. There are people
I've never harassed anyone. I've never said mean things. I never did this, that, and the other. I think we've all just made points against the film, saying,
I've said a lot of mean things.
Yeah, I say mean things.
I've said a lot of mean things. I don't know what, but what do you want me to do about that? You want me to prostrate myself, say and apologize? If someone feels like, hey, you know what, that was a little much, say, yeah, you know what, you're probably right. I did it for.
Oh no, I know exactly what I said. I mean everything. So yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know what else there is. He just wants there not to be negativity, because he's one of these guys that's like, why are you guys negative? Life is great. Come on. You got to just stop complaining.
Why can't you like the thing I love? It's like, what? Why? Why can't you listen?
If you're a real fan, you'll just like the things that are good. Disliking doesn't exist.
Real criticism is needed. It's like, here is real criticism.
You're letting the dark side take over.
Oh god, that is the cringest argument I've heard from, like, oh, the thing about films being on the dark side is like they never paid attention to the films because they're falling to the dark side by hating something.
Yes. I am the evil of Star Wars, man.
Cringe.
Darth Glibber.
Darth Glib, the fuckwit.
The fuckwit. The darkest fuckwit in the galaxy.
Saying something like the movie, do it in a mature and responsible way.
Why don't we do it in a completely immature, fact-based way? What's wrong with that? What if we get all our facts correctly and we're swearing up a storm? What's wrong with that?
I like comedy, and that's the end of that.
I see no problems being factually correct and being a douche about it. You can be a not douche. You could swear. You could have little animated characters on your screen. So long as the points you make sense and there's reference and evidence, I don't care.
And the people, by the whoever this is, the people you are talking about exist. You just haven't found them and watched them.
True. But he wants to mischaracterize people so that he can get away with his argument.
Of course.
Well, he wants to focus on the extreme, acting like anyone who doesn't... because it fits with the narrative. The narrative is anyone who doesn't like the film is this, that, and the other. They're harasser, they're this, they're that, they're leaving all these mean comments. That's all of them. And then he won't pay attention to all of them because he'll just paste over this narrative onto anyone who doesn't like the film. I've seen it multiple times. I have never harassed anyone, but yet, merely for not liking the film, people have accused me of being one of these toxic fans who harassed the actresses of Star Wars.
I'm a huge toxic fan, and I just love hating the thing that I love arbitrarily. I just don't like change. I want everything to stay the same forever. I am boring. This is the straw man that I am.
Don't act like a child and don't lash out irrationally. That's not the way to get things done. And again, that's kind of the point of my video. And John, I'm not...
the entire YouTube community would like to point to various people who get things done and make crazy money on YouTube being a clown. So no.
Saying this to you personally because, again, you have demonstrated that you are able to do this in a mature kind of way without backlashing or whatever, and I respect you for that. I really do respect you for that. So you kind of do get this idea, though, and you even do say in your video...
Now, should the fans have been so belligerent against George Lucas? But at the same time, I don't think it's wrong for fans to be critical and to call out the creator of a series or the director of a film for making some decisions that, quite frankly, just did not seem to make a whole lot of sense. Now, whether it's George Lucas handing us a box of crap or it's Disney handing us a bigger box of crap, I still think fans have the right to say, you know what, that's a box of crap.
And
Yes.
again, you are saying pretty much exactly what I'm saying, and that is that it's okay to critique a movie. If you're not happy with something that someone has done with a movie or with the franchise, that's okay. You can speak out against that, and I welcome that on my videos, and again, I just want to create that discussion, which is what we're doing right now, and I love it. I think it's great. But again, the way that people have gone about doing it is wrong.
Which people?
It's not the right,
Which
it's
videos?
not the right thing to
Which
do.
ones?
People need to find a different way
morally
to
wrong.
express what they're feeling about these movies. I should say...
You can't have intense feelings, guys. You have to be everything milk toast, everything mellowed out. No emotion. Just as no emotion as possible, even though you absolutely are a fan of the thing you love. No feelings, guys. This is a very strange
Speak out passionately, but don't be mean.
I don't get it. It's like they have a subjective reaction, which is pure emotion to them. But when it comes to criticism, you can't have any emotion. What? We can't get angry. We can't get pissed off. We can't say this is crap. It's like be constructive. It's like it is constructive. We're pointing out facts. We're making observations. We're having deductions. We're using logic. We're pointing to lore. We're talking about storytelling elements. Like, what more do you want? A robot? How many times I got accused of being boring? Because that's what I used to do. First few years, just like I would talk very plainly. This is what happens in the plot. Then this happens, and then that happens. They're like, well,
Message coming in.
I can't pay attention. Look at Vosh on YouTube. What the hell is wrong with that guy? I have no idea. There's several things wrong with him. We know that. I just can't list them all. Everyone loves him. Why? He's a clown. He makes people laugh. And they happen to share their...
I don't think I've ever seen a stream from Vosh where his audience wasn't ripping him apart in the comments.
That's part of the fun. It's entertaining.
Well, even on like live streams as well, he gets ripped apart.
It's not meant to be factual. Or what he did when he went on with debate was with Stefan Molyneux. That was a joke. I was sitting there going, this can't be serious. Stefan's trying his best, like, to keep the guy from going off the rails. It's like, okay, this is not helping a conversation about why communism or socialism is good or whatever. This is ridiculous. But that's what he does. That's how he makes his money. So good on him. He's found an audience to satiate in some capacity. I'm sure people actually like what he has to say. But geez, listening to him is just painful. All right, Foot Clan again. All movies have flaws. Yeah, that's great.
Here though that my video was never ever about defending any of the movies or debating the quality of the movies. That the video had...
Wait a second. How are you not talking about the quality of the films if you're saying a bunch of people destroyed the quality of the films? Unless it's not about the quality of the films, it's just about the films.
I guess if say killing the franchise was more probably talking about like they're not going to make so it's not becoming profitable anymore because the fans are doing this, and they're not going to want to make Star Wars because of the fans.
I'm not
Good. Don't do it.
Harass them more.
Stop making Star Wars.
So wait a second. It's fans not buying enough tickets? Is that what he's talking about?
I guess.
You're just being a big meanie head, and you stop yelling at the people and bullying Kelly Marie Tran, even though you probably never did. And this is a total straw man that he's taking at face value.
Message coming in. Patching it through.
Oh, here's Mad Ghost 4. Have you ever heard of the tragedy of Darth Glibus, the F7CK?
Have you ever heard the tragedy of Darth Vegas, the casino?
It reminded me of that, was it a clothing brand, French Connection, UK? FCUK, yeah, that's what it was. You see the acronym, you're like, wait a second. What? Is that a thing?
Is that a... Yeah,
I think it is. Is it still around? Yeah, it is. French Connection. Women's clothing. Yeah, it's still around. Anyway.
Nothing. Okay, because we all know that the fan base is divided on the prequels and on the new movies and whatever. So
I don't know. I think there's a pretty solid consensus, even though there's prequel defenders.
The thing that was relevant to my video was that
they're
how
terrible.
Backlash became so intense that it did lead to this man becoming broken and selling his babies for less than what they were worth. I will say I'm not a huge fan of the prequels. I love them because they're Star Wars and I grew up with them. I'm 26 years old, so I was like 7 or 8 years old when the Phantom Menace first came out, and I grew up with that as a kid, you know, and I love the movies because I was a kid, and I have a lot of nostalgia for them, and I understand how people who grew up in the 1970s with the original movies might not like the prequels because, you know, they're viewing them with different eyes, and it's the same with the new trilogy.
So he just admitted to being biased. Okay. Fine.
They liked them because they're Star Wars, and only because they're Star Wars.
Exactly. This is the mentality of these people. It's like they're good because they're Star Wars. Like it's not a reason to like.
You can't just slap the Star Wars label on it, and all of a sudden it makes it amazing. It has to be a good film, and it has to be in Star Wars. It's not. Oh, it could be good in Star Wars, but you know we'll accept it if it's a bit shit.
People are these with different eyes, and just nothing's ever going to live up to those original movies. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Attack of the Clones. I don't really like that movie at all. Revenge of the Sith, I really enjoy. Phantom Menace, I look, I don't think it's a great movie, but I love it because I have a lot of nostalgia attached to it. And that movie, along with A New Hope, are the two movies that I kind of put down to me wanting to be a filmmaker and wanting to.
What's the point of you telling us this?
That kind of stuff. So I have a lot of nostalgia when it comes to those movies. But again, my video was never about the quality of these movies. It was never about defending the quality of these movies. It was just a social commentary on people who take their opinions to this extreme level. Let's get that out of the way.
So you love something because of nostalgia.
What did he just say?
Apparently, it's okay to like something for dumb reasons, but it's not okay to hate something for
and to take it to an extreme level.
If you're telling me all the Star Trek movies are great because they're nostalgic, you're a moron. That's stupid. That's a dumb reasoning. That is, they have phasers. Oh,
they're good because they're Star Trek. That's it.
That's stupid. That's a dumb argument. There's lots of problems with those films. A lot of problems. Stories, characters, even technology, even lore. Time travel by going around the sun. Come on. Where did that come from? Oh, we're just going to do it. That's how it works. Really. As much as you like the story of Voyage Home with the whales and the nuclear vessels, there's a lot of problems with these films. And if that's all it is, they're just simple entertainment, then they're not Star Trek. Star Trek is supposed to be about hard science fiction. And what does humanity do in these alien scenarios? How does it work? You can't just have crap like that.
Patching it through.
Anyway. Justin Proper. Cannot wait for Glib to own this guy. I don't think Glib cares too much. I think this is like easy mode for everyone here. We're still waiting on actual points to be made, so we can't.
Yeah, he hasn't made.
Yeah, there's nothing
He
to
hasn't
say.
said anything.
Those points might be in his last video or something.
Maybe. Foot Clan 004, thank you again. I'm sorry, I'd rather hear Glib tear apart my beloved PT versus these you guys are meanie heads fans like David. Oh, okay.
PT.
I've improved since then.
PT is in the spooky
No
trailer
prequel-
game.
The prequel
right.
trilogy. I liked PT. PT was interesting.
Oh, okay.
I wish PT was a real game, don't you?
I wish many things were real,
Yeah, so do I.
including my
What?
desire to go on in this world.
Yeah, me too. I wish you had a desire to go on in this world because I don't. No.
I just meant to make a dark joke, but that kind of went to a very real place.
I don't think we have any rum to facilitate the dark humor, Glib.
Why is the rum gone?
I don't drink that much. I have a little bit of tequila left. I can chug that.
You shouldn't chug tequila. Holy crap.
If you
Brave
can't
man.
chug tequila, then you're watching movies wrong and you have bad taste.
Plot holes only matter until I say they don't. That's great. Thanks.
Like things for dumb reasons, but don't hate things for dumb reasons.
Don't hate things for reasonable reasons.
Joe Crazy. I grew up with the prequels as well, but I'm not going to say they're good because they're Star Wars. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think I'm the same. I also grew up with the prequels. I very much enjoy them on a subjective level, but I will never say that they are good quality. Maybe there are good elements, but I would never say overall, especially in the writing.
I go out of my way to harass and bully people who like the prequels because
I go
want
to
them
George
change.
Lucas's house, and I
Hey,
knock
George,
on...
the prequels are terrible. You're a loser.
I go down. I mow over his fencing, his nice picket fence with my tank. I aim it right at his window. It's like, George, get the fuck out here! You fucked up the prequels, George.
Why is that kid out here again trying to what's he want from me? The movie's over and we made it. It doesn't matter.
You have to pay for your actions. Have consequences, George.
George, why didn't you fucking... Jar Jar was a stupid idea, George.
You wouldn't do it because George also did the Clone Wars and you like the Clone Wars.
Yes, that is true.
He just reminds you that he did the Clone Wars and you're like, all is forgiven.
I just slowly back off in my
Back
tank.
off.
Like, all right, just bye.
That's a silly looking flannel, George. I like the one you were wearing yesterday.
For a bit. Let's just talk a little bit about what you're talking about when it comes to the prequel movies here.
And while you could make an argument that his films were revolutionary in terms of computer-generated imagery, you could also make the claim that a lot of it was just being lazy. Now, if you look at the original trilogy and you look at the amount of work and pre-production that went into those films, and I would argue
Is that Batman
it was
and
George
Robin in a
Lucas's
Star Wars comic in the
limitations that
background, or is that
actually
supposed to be
made
Vader?
his films better, because he had to actually think through things a lot more rather than just say, oh, we'll just CGI this scene here, or we'll just digitally do it here. And granted, while they spent millions on the CGI in those prequel films, I would still argue that when you look at the original trilogy, you could tell that was a labor of love.
Now, I don't necessarily think what you're saying here is 100% true. I do agree with you to an extent. Lucas's filmmaking may appear to have gotten a little bit lazy over the years. I mean, Episode 3 was entirely shot on green screen, and that's kind of not good. George Lucas has actually expressed over the years
Because there are a lot of sets, I suppose. Like there must be there were corridor scenes.
How many films these days are purely set on green screen? Let's be fair.
That was the beginning of all that.
It was the beginning.
I mean, that doesn't
They
take
made-
away from it being revolutionary. Whether it was a good thing or not, it was still revolutionary.
Again, we've talked about how before that George was pretty much doing everything which the industry is doing now, way before the industry was actually doing it.
Well, I don't
Yes.
think...
Like even the mistakes.
let's not have a story. Let's ask a bunch of artists to make stuff, and then I'll be inspired to say, hey, let's have a scene with that thing. That's not writing. That's not even prop design. That's just asking people to make shit and saying, I like this drawing the best. Let's make a character off that. That's not how you write a story or compose one, at least. You're
It's
just
a funny monkey for me. I want a character over here that looks like a funny monkey, and then he steps in the poopy.
I had to make it for kids. You know, the kids gotta watch something for kids. They like it, make them laugh.
When he decapitates the bad guy, make sure there's a little monkey character in the background that goes woohoo.
Message coming in.
So it works for kids.
Here is Rack. Oh my god, let me try to pronounce this. Eads Masha. Daka Daka Daka. That is a specific trope, actually. I don't know if that's actually in Star Wars. I think there are some action scenes with Daka, but I'm thinking more of like Resident Evil scenarios where Daka is prevalent. So few scenes, I'll give it that, but very rare.
Cool. We're halfway through, and then we can get to LitDev's stream where he's playing Life is Cringe.
Oh dear.
Let's go.
Believes the film industry is overusing CGI, how the film industry is abusing CGI, and
Yes.
maybe when it came around to episode 3, George Lucas did, I would agree, George Lucas, he will rip into other people about abusing the CGI, but he kind of did it, he kind of did it himself, especially when it comes
Can you
to
stop
episode
waffling?
3. But with episode 1 and 2, Lucas was pioneering special effects as
So-
a
Oh,
he's
The same
pioneering
reason you
them.
mentioned the OT.
Look over there, mate. There's a
Work
gold
and
mine.
Production went into creating the models and creating the visual effects and all that kind of stuff, and how he had to think through things more because the technology he wanted.
I
had to
think
think
something
about
that
it.
CGI definitely lacks these days is innovation and having to, because when you have something in the real world, it has limitations on what you can actually do. So therefore, you have to be creative about how you get around it to achieve. I've already forgotten the term, though I use it constantly. Forced creativity, where it often can result in something being much better than what you originally intended. So you get a pig, you kick the thing, you put a costume on it, and then you put a robot around that, and then it's flying on the sun, so you get a big bit of strain, and then you hack it all together, and it looks amazing. But that isn't something which you get with CGI these days, because it's a lot more just, model a thing, animate a thing, rig a thing, and it's all just doing the same thing over and over again. Though I wouldn't... CGI definitely has its place, and I definitely have a passion for CGI particularly, and I don't think it's too far to say that, you can't make a CGI character, or you can't make this CGI or that CGI, because it's definitely required on the circumstance. But the main problem is that it's just used to brush everything CGI rather than coming up with any kind of creative solutions.
To make his it didn't exist in the late or the mid 1970s, and he and his team had to literally invent things to make that work, to make those movies work, and to realize his vision on the screen. But I could argue that he did exactly the same thing with the prequel trilogy. George Lucas has said many times that he wants to keep ahead of the pack. He doesn't want to. He called The Force Awakens retro, and he didn't like the way that it went back to using practical effects. I personally loved the way The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi did do that, have used practical effects in conjunction with special effects. But George Lucas's way of doing things was always, again, I'm going to use that thing that a lot of these people who hated The Last Jedi use. It's let the past die. And that's not necessarily a good thing, I agree with that. But that was not only Kathleen
Let the
Kennedy
past
and
die,
Ryan
kill it if you have
Johnson's
to.
sort of
Kill
idea
them
of how
all!
to make the movies. That was how George Lucas was making the movies all along. Let the past die, move along, keep up with the trends, invent things.
Shoot
to
old
make
people!
new-
Kill the past.
Wait a second.
Kill them!
Fucking kill the past.
We
really?
don't need it. Who needs the past?
I hope
I only have a future.
I hope he's not saying that because we're criticizing a past film from 10, 20 years ago, it's irrelevant. I hope he's not saying that, because that would be silly.
I think he's saying kill the past technology, but then again, that would be more advancement rather than killing. I'm just kind of more perplexed by what the fuck he's saying. I don't think George Lucas ever said kill the past, or if that's any way George Lucas's ideology. It's more just, I think he's definitely trying to innovate, but innovation doesn't mean kill the past. Again, there were still lots of practical sets and effects on the prequel trilogy. It's a bit of a meme that it uses green screen, but there are still a heck of a lot of practical effects that were used, and lots of practical sets. I think there were actually more sets and practical effects made for the prequels than there was for the sequels, and the original trilogy. I would say original trilogy, but it's probably both.
Things are bigger and better and bolder, and each movie really he made was groundbreaking. The prequel movies were as groundbreaking when it comes to special effects as the original trilogy were when it came to visual effects.
I don't care. It still looks bad.
New ground with each movie that he did. Again, once we come to episode 3, he done pretty much all the.
That compositing with the Reek really didn't look that. I mean, the asset itself for the Reek is gorgeous, but the problem is, like, when it's compositing with like the live action stuff, it really starts to show.
It broke new ground, just like the Red Letter Mimia. I love it. It's Star Wars. Look at how cool the CGI is. Oh my god.
Pioneering he do. There was still a few things that they kind of pioneered in that movie, but yes, there was an overabundance of special effects, and maybe he did take it a little bit too far. It would have been nice to get a little bit of practical stuff in there and assume the movie was entirely shot on green screen. I don't completely agree with that. So in effect, I'm kind of in agreement with you when it comes to episode 3, but episode 1 and 2, I can't bring myself to agree with you that Lucas was a lazy filmmaker. He was pioneering film.
Did you watch the?
He was very much lazy in the writing. And then again, the CGI itself and what he was pushing was still the work of other people. He just said, hey, make this thing, do this thing over here. And he was telling other people to do things. The CGI isn't his work. He just told them to do it.
Yeah. Here's Mad Ghost 4. Can we all have a moment of silence for Henry Cavill's CGI mustache? No, correction.
CGI removal.
The lip was CGI. The mustache was real. There we go. That makes more sense.
Yeah, that was really weird. In fact, the funny part is that there was someone online who rotoscoped the mustache out and painted on his lip with some textures, and it looked far more. And the texture would warp. He used a warp effect to move with the mouth, and looks far more human than the terrible CGI effect they tried to use in Justice League.
The other problem with that scene was that's when he is reborn or what have you. So he's all newborn. He doesn't know what's going on. So he's very emotional and smiling and getting angry. You're like, that's weird. Superman doesn't act that way.
It's like, wait, his top lip isn't moving? Oh, wait a minute.
If it were not for Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, modern filmmaking right now wouldn't exist in the state that it does.
That's not an argument, sir. I don't care.
That's not an argument for the writing.
His team at ILM invented things that filmmakers take for granted.
And you know what? They would have been invented anyway by someone else. That's not an... Again, talking about the writing of the film here, we don't care. I do care, obviously, that they made all these brilliant things that are now at my disposal at a single click. That, you know, that they would have be, oh my god, it's amazing. But at the same time, that really doesn't fix all these writing flaws that their films have.
Today, like he did with the original trilogy, George Lucas needed to find a way to tell his story because it just wasn't possible when he went into the prequel trilogy. I'm going to just quote a few things from the ILM website here. The ILM website mentions of the Phantom Menace. It had the first walking, talking CG film star, the first high-speed race through a virtual landscape, the first battle scenes with thousands of CGI characters, the first characters who use rigid body stimulation, the first use of motion capture to propel armies of characters. Before this film, no one had combined actors shot on blue screen stages with digital characters and CG effects in environments seamlessly patched together from footage shot on location and digital models for more than 1,000 shots. By
These are all
showing other
superficial
directors what
aspects.
could be done, Lucas and ILM had a phenomenal impact. When it comes to Attack of the Clones, ILM calls it a landmark film and says that George Lucas realised his long-held dream of making the first all-digital movie. Among the technical evolutions of this film were techniques for simulating the dynamics of rigid bodies and cloth, using the laws of physics once set in motion. The digital replicas of real-world objects moved accordingly to the same force of gravity and friction that would have affected them in the real world. Lucas and his team at ILM...
It means exactly what they're saying, but it applies nothing to the actual writing, which is the big part where the film drastically falls down.
Can you imagine?
It means nothing.
Can you imagine if he actually paid a modicum of money to some writers, say, write me a script, and then we'll design...
Pave the way for modern
stuff.
filmmaking in the way that he paved the way for modern filmmaking back in the 1970s. He was groundbreaking with both trilogies of these movies. You may hate special effects, you may like practical effects better, but again, as Lucas says, these are tools to help you tell your story, and Lucas just wanted to get bigger and better. To say that he didn't put in as much thought or as much love and care into the prequels as he did with the original trilogy, I just respectfully disagree with
Okay, again, we have to look at behind the scenes of all the scenarios where he asked people to do things for him before there was a script, before there was a working through line that an editor can look at and say, oh, this is what you want. Okay, let's look at that and see if that's what you want and why. And there was that famous scene we all know where they're doing the first viewing of the film, and they realize they've done too much. There's too many things going on.
May have gone too far in a few places.
Exactly.
And I think, didn't we also come to the conclusion that he didn't redraft his script, he just only made one?
There was never a script to begin with until it just came together after all these designs came together. And then you had some concept of a storyboard where things were sort of here and there, but they weren't solid yet. And they didn't even know the design of a lot of the characters yet. They didn't know what they were doing. It's a mess. It's not a horrible mess because it does have a plot of some degree, but it's still a mess. And this stuff should have been planned out, and it wasn't. And it's a miracle that because it was so simple, that you had all these other simple plot threads coming together in some fashion. Like the whole story with Anakin was just almost sidelined after the pod race. It was just like, oh, he's in a ship, and the ship is on autopilot, and it just takes him to space, and now he's fighting a war, and now he's in a hangar, and now he's blowing up a space station, whatever that donut thing is.
Is there any point finishing this video? There's probably more point finishing watching the original video than it is here, because it's more just, and both of these have said nothing in 17 minutes.
Yeah, I know.
So maybe it would be better watching the fans are killing Star Wars.
How big is that one?
Video.
How long is that?
I mean, another time, not now.
Yeah.
I kind of want to get.
Let's just zip through this, yeah.
I think that all along, George Lucas's heart was in the right place. Create better cinematic experiences for fans. But unfortunately, a big portion of the fans preferred the way it used to be done. And it was the same, in the 1920s when sound first came in. People don't want to know about sound. I just want my movies without people talking. Let's not go down there. When color came into it, I don't want to go to the cinemas and watch something in color. No way. Why? Let me just stick with what's old. Why are you using color?
What?
This is.
Wouldn't have people been amazed by color film?
No, it's scary.
Technicolor. Oh no!
What happened to my black and white?
We don't need no fancy color. Back in my day, we just enjoyed looking at the screen and lucky if something happened.
This is dumb. Do you have any evidence that was any kind of backlash against color film?
I mean, I miss the monochrome. Why, everything was easier when it was all grey.
I could imagine the color of the woman's hair. Was she red or blonde? I don't know.
It's the same thing. itself over and over and over again. But look, we're comparing tangible things with non-tangible things, and people are always going to react better to things that you can physically touch and are real than things that we know aren't real. There's always going to be a backlash, and that's kind of fair. That's the way the world rolls.
I mean, I would still argue that the original...
Is he talking about visual effects there?
I don't know. Tangible things and non-tangible.
If that's the case, you need to go back and look at the number of things in the prequels that actually weren't special effects. Like, a lot of the shots in The Phantom Menace are practical. The bit with the pod race, when they're actually... They have the wide shot of the big amphitheater and all the people on the stands. That's not CGI. Yeah. That's a model.
People.
That's a model, and they're pushing air through the underneath of the model to have them move about. So a big distance, it looks like a crowd simulation. There's a lot of that, especially in the first two films. I don't know how much the third, because I think he is right. It is more of like a CGI fuckfest, but the writing was better. Ish.
We need to make
Darth if
Vader.
You don't succeed the first time, maybe you do it a little bit worse the second time, but maybe the third time you'll do something a bit better.
Tell that to the sequel trilogy.
But then they never did anything right.
Let's get three.
As terrible as it is, the first one of the sequel trilogy is still the best.
Yeah,
then, I think that's more because... But at the same time, I think that caused a lot of the problems, which were in the sequel trilogy, because it was all just mystery boxes and there was nothing inside it, and it was all just a big reset button to have the exact same conflict as before.
You could have done something better than what they did.
That is true, but at the same time, I don't think it was... After the first paving stones had been laid, it was nothing more than a road to hell.
Paved with no intentions.
Paved with money intentions.
Trilogy today still holds up, and it actually holds up better than the prequels.
This statement I'll completely agree with. The original trilogy does hold up better than the prequels, but again, we have to ask ourselves, is that because we've grown up with the original trilogy and nothing can match up to them? Is that why people hate The Last Jedi? Because they have these original movies on such a high pedestal that nothing can ever match up to the high...
I would actually say that, specifically with the effects themselves, there are compositing errors in, I want to say, Return of the Jedi, with the big space battle, because obviously the more objects that you have in a shot, the more chances of mistakes you're going to make, because the camera movement isn't going to always be as exact, especially when you're dealing with different scales. There are often like TIE fighters in the background, which are really squished for some reason. Not entirely sure why, but they're there. They're squished. And another thing is they can also be hidden by lower resolution as well. These poorer models and effects. There are actually some practical effects of models in the background of Return of the Jedi that are... It's a kit bash of a Saturn rocket, and it's got squiggles all over it for marker, because no one's there's going to be too low res in the background to actually see. And that is something which is there.
To that, I would like to get the opinion of someone who's maybe 8 years old right now, who has seen The Last Jedi, and what he thinks of the old movies in comparison to the new movies. That's an interesting take, because these movies have always been made for kids. These movies are always designed to be family movies, and they're aimed at the younger audiences. They're not for older people. They may have little things here and there that appeal to the fans, but really what we have to understand
it's supposed
is
to be
that
for
Disney and Lucasfilm really are
general audiences, not
movies.
just
These
children.
movies aren't for us anymore. These are for the new generation, the new kids, and we gotta let them have this. We gotta let them have these movies and love these movies and nurture these movies.
The same
way we did with the original trilogy.
You want to give? No. You can't. You can't have these films. You can't have them. They're for someone else. You may have enjoyed them. You may be fans, but you're not allowed to have these films.
So he wants.
I like how and I don't know if he'd say it, but everyone always says they're for kids. But that's why the sequel trilogy especially has such deep and complex themes that only an intellectual would understand. Us smooth brains and the children wouldn't understand.
What is he expecting an 8-year-old to react to Rian Johnson's masterpiece of things they don't understand.
Their heads would implode with the manner of a disturbing sucking sound if they could ever. The level of detail and themistry that is within Ryan Johnson's tism of writing.
The tapestry of themes.
After watching the first
Why do you want to
two.
give kids bad writing? Why is that what your goal is?
I think they'd be a bit pissed off. Why is Luke a loser? Like, what, mommy? Why? Why is Luke throwing the lightsaber away?
You don't understand the themes, Timothy.
Here's Mad Ghost Phil. If I had an 8-year-old, I would never let him see the sequels. Yeah. Well, maybe as a warning.
Message coming in.
To what happens when you're a hack. This is what happens. It's real crazy. Jesus, either make a good argument or get back to making your shrimp on the
Message
barbie.
coming in.
Yeah, Jesus.
Give us something to work with, sir.
Prequel trilogy when they were coming out. Now, I'm going to address just a couple more things here. Now, John has put together an analogy here, how he perceives my message of the original video. Let's take a look at that.
But I mean, ultimately, Disney made moves that totally disregarded the fans. And so us choosing not to see the next movie, how is that our fault? I mean, if Star Wars were to fizzle out and die, whose fault is it? Is it our fault because we don't want to see bad films? Or is it Disney's fault, and was it George Lucas's fault for not putting out better Star Wars movies?
Yes.
So I don't think Star Wars fans who aren't happy with the prequels and who aren't happy with the state of Star Wars now under Disney are responsible for killing Star Wars. That's ridiculous. Again, I think that's like a battered woman getting beat by her husband, basically saying, it must be my fault. It's something that I'm doing wrong and all that. No, that's ridiculous.
Look, this is a bad analogy. This is completely incomparable because this fan backlash did 100%
Star Wars
lead
didn't
to George
physically
Lucas
beat
selling
me in the
Star
head.
Wars to Disney because he was just,
No, what led to George Lucas selling Star Wars to Disney was Bob Iger manipulating
Message coming
him.
in.
I said to George, if you don't give up the Star Wars, I'll shoot this puppy. And he went, no, don't do that. That's my puppy.
Oh.
But yeah,
Give me the Star Wars, George, or this puppy gets it.
It was very explicit
God,
in Bob
please
Iger's
don't.
memoirs that he was manipulating George Lucas, saying, "Oh yeah, we're gonna continue your legacy, George. You got to think about your legacy. What's gonna happen when you pass away? What's gonna happen to your company? Disney could really take your company. We could take your company, we could take your franchise, we could take care of it, George." And that's why he sold it. This is
franchise.
we'll take it behind the shed and shoot the back of it. I mean, we'll do it justice.
Here's a Dilemmaticus. Why do they always go for that straw man? I enjoyed the movies till the sequels when I was young and appreciated them when I got older. Watching the prequels randomly on a summer movie marathon or something. It's fine. Let's sit down for an hour and a bit and watch episode 2. Won't kill me. Bunch of explosions. Bunch of silly dialogue. Yeah, it's fun. Have a beer, relax. No big deal.
But give me a fucking break when somebody says, you know what? It was the harassing of the fans that caused George Lucas to sell it. Because I've never heard him come out and say, the fans hating it and calling me a bitch on Twitter. That's what really got me upset.
That must be why he created a brand new set of films for a sequel trilogy that Disney rejected.
Oh God, he totally didn't care anymore.
He totally didn't want to do it anymore. That's why he sold the franchise. That's why he did 8 years of the Clone Wars.
8 years of Clone Wars?
Was it 8 years?
25
Yeah,
years.
it was 2000. It was released anyway from 2008 to 2014. So
27 years ago, 40 years ago, Clone Wars aired for the first time.
Well, yeah, he wrote both, didn't he? Or he helped write both.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't think he was included much in the 2D show. He was busy with his own films at that point.
Had enough. didn't want to deal with it anymore. In this case, in the case of Star Wars, the Star Wars fandom did do something that had an adverse effect on them, and now they are dealing with the repercussions.
How do you
know? This is completely different to a woman or someone who is the victim of a unprovoked physical attack. Because
maybe it's the woman's fault. Maybe she pissed off George Lucas, and then he was like, "Nah, I'm going to beat you now, bitch."
It's the abuser, the person who abused them. In the case of Star Wars, again, the fans did backlash against the movies, so the fans did something to provoke the buyout. I think a lot of people are missing the big picture with my...
Yes, but okay, so ignore the analogy. His point was, is it the fans' fault for not liking these films if they are bad films? That's what he was asking. You have not answered that. You then go to, oh, well, it was the fan backlash that caused George Lucas to sell his company, which isn't true. But still, that has nothing to do with the terrible films which George wrote.
You don't think that George was used... Go on.
Sorry. It certainly has nothing to do with the $13 billion George was offered. I think he probably would have sold the franchise whether or not they liked what he did in the prequels.
You don't think that George was used to being rejected for a lot of his work? He's done a fucking ton of bad movies. Other than Star Wars, nobody even knows the names of those movies because they weren't very good. That's the whole thing. I don't buy this whole message that this nebulous harassment has caused everything to go down the tubes. You have to prove that. Nobody's ever done that.
Here's Mad Ghost 4. You can say a lot about George, but you cannot say that he didn't care. I think, obviously, he cared a great deal, especially at the beginning. It's his inability to write or to say, hey, I'm not good at what I'm doing in writing, but you are. I'm going to hire you, and you're going to write for me, or you'll be my ghostwriter, or whatever the case might be.
Write with me is all he needed.
That would have been fine. Whatever. We never saw that development where he's like, you know what? Story matters first. He had that attitude when he was making the first Star Wars. We saw it from him. We had interviews where he talked about, all these visual effects is meaningless if there's no story. Visual effects are not the story. They add to the story. There has to be a basic storyline.
They add to the immersion of the story.
Yeah. I mean, the details, especially, of all this grimy universe. So
his quote was, special effects are a means to telling a story.
Right. So that's where he seemed to have forgotten. And the focus was never storytelling. The focus was, I got to make a film for kids. I got to make a film that has this character in this scene, and not knowing how to connect the dots. Where a talented writer, or even an average editor, could say, okay, well, you want this to connect to that. All right. This is how you connect these two scenarios. You have a conflict of one character that leads to the conflict of another, and they meet and they have a fight, keep going, and go to the next scene. Like, that never really jived well. There's so many characters running around in the last half of the film. The last 20 minutes of the film, everything was just slamming together in episode 1, and it was just a mess. All this action, you're like fighting scenes in space, then on the ground again, then back to the Jedi. Like, holy jeez, what is going on? Which technically could have worked. You could have told the story that way. But the focus, the emotional, the drama, the dramatic elements were jumping all over the place. So is Star Wars really about a bunch of innocent kids in spaceships on autopilot? I don't think so.
Well, you're wrong, Smudge. You're just a fucking toxic fan. What are you doing here? Why are you ruining Star Wars?
He's stealing my mojo. I wanted to ruin it, and he's doing all the work. It's not fair.
Even if he had all the storyboards planned out properly, there was obviously a disconnect in the scenes. I don't know how you screw that up, because there's so many amazing artists drawing every bloody, beautiful looking storyboard. It almost tells the story itself. Maybe it's a matter of dialogue. Maybe it's a matter of narration. I don't know. There's ways to fix these problems before they go into production. There's so many ways. So many editors. Like, get 2 editors in a room. They'll fight it out for a month and figure out the best solution, I'm sure. But they didn't do that. And this is why we always talk about the first trilogy. it was the editors that made the film. It wasn't George. George had all these ideas and he threw them out there, and the editor went, "Oh my God, George, you're nuts."
I don't know. I feel like the script for A New Hope was pretty well put together, but it had many drafts. He redrafted it for like years.
Yeah.
The prequels were first draft, so that's a huge problem.
Well, was it Marcia, his first wife, that was pretty involved in the editing for Star Wars?
In the movie editing.
Yeah.
Not in the script editing, though.
Right, the film editing, right.
So the script of A New Hope is really good. The script of the prequel trilogies, when you read them, there's actually a lot more detail, which is interesting. But then you can see how he cut it down while he was filming it, not quite while he... Not to make the prose better. It's a bloated script that needs to be cut down, and also added. There needs to be more character added to it, and there needs to be more information to make it more sensible. And I think the structure of each movie kind of messes with the other one because of how they introduce characters. It's sort of a set of 3 stories that are all supposed to be related to each other instead of one continuous trilogy story, which I feel a little bit more connected to when I think about the original trilogy. It just feels more... everything feels more related than the events of the prequels.
There are some
commonality in the prequels being the Emperor's plans, and everybody has to go along with it. Whereas in the original Star Wars, the war was across the board. Everybody was involved in it. Everybody had motivations in it. Whereas the prequels, there's not really that many motivations on any side other than Sheev, pretty much, who drives the whole thing.
Creamy Sheev.
What up?
Hello.
Hey, Litev.
Yo.
I guess you finished with Life is Cringe.
I had to buy the additional bonus episode. It's like $2, and it was only an hour long.
Oh.
Really? Oh.
And nothing
Well,
happened.
I guess you're on to Life is Cringe too, then.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
I'm forced to go over there now.
Oh, no.
I was looking forward to joining you there, but I guess we just did get there in time.
It was really only like an hour long, so
Well,
there we go.
You know, I got to give that game that they tried to put in a little bit of Shakespeare, and it's interactive and it's kind of goofy. I'm like, all right, that's kind of cute. I could respect having a high school stage production with all these weird, quirky characters. I'm like, that's kind of neat. The problem is, it kind of sucks. It's kind of silly.
Yeah, it is. It really is. So what kind of nonsense? What kind of circle of hell have you jumped into this time?
This is a guy, I don't know what he's
So far, he has said fuck all. He's responding to a video, but the problem is that he's not actually listening to what the video is saying. So the video will say something like, is it not... I'm really sorry, but I have to really pause quickly to mute something in the background because it's quite loud. Okay, there we go. In the video itself, he says, is it not valid that, the fans are upset because the films are terrible? It's not the fault of the fan. The reason why the franchise stopped doing so well is because the fans were upset at these terrible films. So is it the terrible film's fault or is it the fans' fault? And then he somehow completely ignores that, and then he goes straight to George Lucas selling the Star Wars because of the fan backlash. It's like, no, you're not answering the question he's asking. He's asking if it's the fans' fault or the people who made the terrible film's fault. And you've just completely skipped over it.
Wouldn't it be the people who made the terrible films' fault?
You think so? You think?
No, it's the fans. They ruined everything.
The fans love Star Wars. They just don't like terrible Star Wars that insults them.
I was trying to think of maybe
like there would not be this huge overbearing backlash against Star Wars if the Star Wars movies they were watching were good. Whether it be some people who are disgruntled, obviously there always is, but there wouldn't be like humongous backlash if where they blame the fans for it failing. If the movie was actually pretty good, like, if the movie was actually pretty good or even mediocre, I think most fans would be okay with it.
I'm trying to imagine, if there wasn't that much hype or they needed to do a lot of marketing to sell this to people without the original trilogy, so that you actually had to make a good film and say, this is a good, I want you guys to spend time on this, spend your money, and do all this video ads and whatever marketing was available in the 90s for them to sell this thing. And I don't know if it would have worked any as good, or rather the story would have been any different if George was just as successful if the original trilogy does not exist. He still had the same resources to make ILM and what is it, Skywalker Ranch and all the other things he did to that make that massive tech pipeline. I don't know if that would have worked out. It would have been a different experience. He would have different ideas. I'm just curious how Star Wars would have shaped up, because there's a lot of opinion that there was the perfect storm in the 70s for Star Wars to come out. There was a lot of bad B-movie, sci-fi, fantasy films at times, and this was just the biggest one. This was like the biggest budget, the most produced, the most people involved. And it happened to be really, really good and really, really popular because of that. The production value was high. And if that's all it is, if Star Wars is just production value, then story doesn't really matter. Just tell another hero's journey with the same mold, and there you go. That's Star Wars. Just keep doing that. And I think that was kind of the idea with Episode 7. Just that JJ didn't know what he was doing. How do I tell hero journey? Okay, copy 4, put girl in, and make her awesome. It's like, that's not helping. That's not what Star Wars is, unfortunately.
Fixing anything there, JJ.
Remove Soul from A New Hope, and then just use all the bits that people remember, and then that's how you make movie, right? That's how Abrams makes movie.
They had the setup right there. All they had to do was tell a Sins of the Father story. They didn't do that.
Video here. You are one of the only people who have responded to my video and has actually grasped a great deal of what I'm saying in my video and kind of understood where I'm coming from, or at least understood what I'm saying.
Idea.
But again, I think the big picture of this is getting lost. I don't think Star Wars is dead. So I say this at the end of the video too, and I know a lot of people who...
If you don't think Star Wars is dead, how are fans keep killing it?
I mean, I think it's damaged. I don't think it's dead, but then it's defined by like what you would call a dead franchise. So is it dead to you? Is it dead as in it's no longer profitable?
He thinks it's not dead to him, but we're doing damage to it by being vitriolic, I guess.
The numbers show that Star Wars, okay, I guess Star Wars isn't exactly dead, but it is dying.
The general audience is already up and left, and so is most of the fan base.
Yeah, apathy is running rampant with the Star Wars franchise because of the horrible movies they've been producing.
How about that Mandalorian Season 2, am I right?
Oh yeah, the groundbreaking Mandalorian Season 2 I just can't stop hearing about.
With baby marketing ploy, and the man with the bucket on his head.
Oh my god, it's so cute! I want the Funko Pop!
I think that's what they're doing.
$100.
I almost thought you were going to say you wanted to fuck it. That's so
Where's
cute.
your brain at?
I think that
just so cute. I want to throw him against the wall and stamp it repeatedly.
It's almost as if the Mandalorian is kind of relying on Baby Yoda to keep it alive.
Yeah, it is.
You gonna watch it? We got your Baby Yoda, and we're bringing Ahsoka in. You guys like her, yeah?
All they know how to do is run things into the ground right now. That's like their entire MO.
Oh god, they're gonna fucking ruin Ahsoka, I know it.
They're gonna ruin every single thing that you like because fuck you. Give us money, you stupid pay pig.
Oh dear, how would you...
Waste of flesh.
How would you implement Malachor into the Rebels show, and how would it change the status quo? Okay, so that's...
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't, yeah.
I would delete everything.
They needed something very specific for Rebels. They needed a temple, weirdly, a temple death, or was it super weapon? Yeah. And they also needed
temple, yeah.
And they needed that for the plot. And they said, do you know what we needed? We need like it to be some kind of Legends place. It's like, oh, why not make it Malachor? It's like, no, you can't take this away from Revan. Malachor is Revan's thing. Don't touch it. And it's like, oh, well, Malachor died because of a Sith temple super weapon. It's like, no, stop.
I don't know the first thing about Malachor anyway. So.
Oh, well, there's lots of ways to use existing lore without actually, having it involved in a key element of a plot or a plot device or a plot point. There's ways to reference it, to show it. It's a very delicate topic because it's so ingrained in the KOTOR and why it exists. So there are ways to get there without actually having a scene or a set on Malachor 5 or other close areas. So references are good. You wouldn't have like Kreia pop up and start talking about crap. That'd be too weird.
I think they were trying to infer something with the holocron. Like there was an old woman voice in a holocron, and people say, "Oh my god, it's Kreia," and that might be their intention to hint towards it, but it's never explicitly explained. Who the fuck's in that holocron?
I mean, we say that, but that is like, I think maybe 2 of the best episodes of that entire show.
Even though I think that is actually more mediocre. I really think that the finale to season 2, it's a lot like for a start everything which is it's already set up in Clone Wars with the Anakin becoming Vader and then Ahsoka having to confront Vader. That everything, the whole relationship again is from an entirely different show, and on top of that, I don't even think it's that great. I don't think that the way they handled it in the episode is that fantastic. I cried when I first watched it, but like looking back on it now, a little bit less. Oh my god, it's so emotional. It's like, actually, no, okay, I can. It's a couple of awesome moments, but it's quite mediocre as a whole.
So Disney doing a KOTOR 2 type story, no chance. That would not
Give us
happen.
Starkiller.
No. Delete Star Wars.
I can't see Starkiller working either.
Delete Star Wars. Acquire profit.
Like if the The Force Unleashed has its such an extreme exaggeration of the Force. I don't think it could work.
If they were to ever do it, it would need to be a TV show.
Even I don't think it could be in canon with everything else because again, you have a character who's ripping Star Destroyers out of the sky.
You tone him down, obviously. You wouldn't.
Yeah, but then he's. I have to question what's the point in bringing Starkiller back.
Then you just do KOTOR.
It's an interesting story.
Really? A clone of Vader? Is that?
He's not a clone of Vader.
What is he?
His name is Gary.
Gary Starkiller.
Gary Malik.
Gary Stu Starkiller. Gary
Malik is recruited as a little boy by Darth Vader to be his Sith assassin.
I killed your father. Now come with me and I will make you awesome. Better than any character ever.
Vader lies to him and says that he's training him, that one day they will overthrow the Emperor together and they will rule, but instead he has him basically assemble the rebels for him so he can take them all out in a single, swing of his sword, so to say. And then Starkiller finds out about this, betrays Vader, confronts him later, dies. But he saves the rebellion. He saves the rebellion and all that crap.
Message coming
in. The rebellion symbol is actually his house symbol.
I think you need to have
they explain that at the end. This big table. It's it's the house where. Was it the house where? I don't know. I just remember that they said that the rebellion symbol at the end was this symbol of Starkiller's family.
I forget what the reasoning was, but Vader asks him to assemble the rebel leaders together to create this quote-unquote faction, but he then turns up with a big armada to try and blow them all up.
To capture them. It's like, I just wanted you to get all these people together, and then I could capture them, and then there wouldn't be any rebellion. And it's like, joke's on you, we got them together, and now they're escaping, and then they're going to make the rebellion. The rebellion that you wanted to make, not really wanted to make, is now being made.
Yeah, it does sound pretty retarded when you put it like that. I stand corrected, fucking leave it alone, it's actually a terrible story, fuck off.
Right.
I'm drunk, okay? I said things that I didn't mean. It's actually a really bad story.
It's not my
I
idea.
just like the video game.
It's Jameson.
I like the video game too. I do.
All right. Mad Ghost Tour. Starclear's actor already called out Disney, so there's probably no chance. Oh yeah, that's right. He did do a lot of funny things on Twitter. It's true. Andrew Clark. Oh, hey Andrew. Moff Gideon is going to inject midichlorians from Baby Yoda into his body. Oh boy, and then have a lightsaber fight with the Ahsoka Tano. What?
Oh yeah. The inference from the latest episode, which released today, they've taken blood from the baby and they're trying to inject it into people, but it keeps killing them. So people are assuming already that they're trying to make Force users by taking a Jedi's blood.
You can't genetically manufacture a Jedi.
Well, that too.
But they're not trying to make Jedi. I mean Force users specifically, but they're trying to turn people into Force users by stealing Baby Yoda's blood and injecting it into people.
That is.
Oh God, is the Mando gonna end up being a Force user?
I don't think so, but I think Moff Gideon is going to be.
Why do they do fucking keep the Force out of Star Wars? As a system, it's retarded. You got a galaxy of ideas. You got a galaxy of ideas to flourish with. Why do you keep going back to the?
I will just say, don't fuck up the Force. That would be my.
Too late.
I thought
it's too
the
late.
Rogue One
It's
character.
much too late. It was always too late, and we should just put Star Wars out of its misery. Kill it.
Yeah.
Because Star Wars is the past. You know what I mean? And going forward, you're just bringing up more of the past. We need to make the way for new things. So
are they trying to say the Force is in their blood now?
Who gives a fucking shit?
Yes. I don't know. Again, all I know, they're trying to inject Baby Yoda blood.
What if they tie it into that's how they made Snoke?
Oh dear God!
Baby
Who
Yoda,
cares?
Baby Yoda's Force blood.
Palpatine is really Baby Yoda.
It's time for the Star Wars to die.
No, Mandalorian's at least decent. Don't tie it to that sweating, petulant.
It's at least a meh. There you go.
Garbage.
At least it's a meh.
At most, it's decent.
At most, I'm being very charitable with the word most. But, it's not the sequel trilogy.
Anyway, if they wanted to tell a Malachor or any kind of KOTOR story, it would have to be a drama. It would not be an action-adventure bullshit. It would be lots of philosophy, a lot of what does this old woman want from me sort of weird thing. Who am I really, Revan being on his journey? It would be very philosophical. So that's not it would be something else. It wouldn't work very well, especially with people getting off on Baby Yoda because he's cute and the Mandalorians because they're awesome at killing things. Like it wouldn't work very well. So
I still watch it and I like it, but yeah.
I still watch it and I could subjectively enjoy it, but I'm just looking at these things as like, this ain't good.
I feel like it's
issues.
It's more interesting when it's not focused on the Force and all that, which ironically means Baby Yoda takes the back seat, which takes away the entire point of the whole show. But I think that's when it's at its most interesting. It's just the Mandalorian going around, killing people, taking bounty.
Patching it through.
Is cool and doesn't say much. It's really simple.
It's really the Baby Yoda show, actually.
It's fucking, and then they throw Yoda into it again.
Oh my God, he's so cute. Oh my!
I laughed. I clapped. I bought 50 plushies right there and then.
Oh yeah, give me the plushie.
Here's a non-Vitae Rex. You could engineer Force users in the old EU. Remember clone Luke from the Thrawn trilogy?
We don't talk about Luke. We don't talk about Luke.
The clone of Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, that's dumb as well. But just fucking, as a marketing standpoint, Baby Yoda is the most fucking brilliant idea anyone's ever came up with for Star Wars.
Yeah, it's pretty true.
And that for some reason, The Mandalorian has a large female audience. I would go on to guess that it has a more predominant female audience, a more significant female audience than Rey does.
I don't know how you can be so confident about that.
I wonder why. Why do the females like it so much? Anna, that Star Wars girl.
Maybe women are not really attracted to women being in main character roles. Maybe they're attracted to cute little babies and strong, tough, masculine men.
I think it's funny that Anna will talk about the plot and then she'll just turn around. It's like, baby.
I think she just watches it for Baby Yoda, and maybe the Mandalorian.
It's like, this fucking story sucks, but Baby Yoda.
I just need to find a picture of Henry Cavill holding a Baby Yoda doll, and I think her head would explode.
Like, this make Henry Cavill the body of the Mandalorian, and then make him the Mandalorian. Let's make Henry Cavill the Mandalorian. Fire Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, there you go. I would watch it. That's maybe much better. And you can call it
the difference between
Witcher,
Pedro Pascal.
Witch DeLorean.
He just takes the helmet.
The big difference between Pedro Pascal and Henry Cavill is that Pedro Pascal is willingly and eagerly and happily, with a big grin on his face, castrated himself upon the altar of wokeness. Henry Cavill has not.
No, he hasn't. That's true.
Pedro Pascal is now a eunuch. He is now a social eunuch.
Why are you doing this, Mr.
Glib, your waifu who plays Cara Dune, I think her name is in the story.
Who?
She's back in the episode.
Gina Carano.
Gina Carano.
Oh, Gina Carano's not my waifu. Anna de Armas is my wife.
No, it's Gina Carano. That's the only.
Gina
that's the only
Carano
answer.
is the homie. She's too masculine for me, bro.
She would snap you like a twig.
She's too buff, bro. She would suplex me. I don't know what to tell you.
I mean,
Can't handle it.
yeah, she's pretty cool.
Voice can take her.
Yeah.
He can put a saddle on her and ride her to Las Vegas. I don't know.
But Gina Carano still has more balls than Pedro Pascal at this point.
She's great. I love her.
I'm used to dealing with fierce women.
I like what I like.
You like big butts, and you cannot lie.
I cannot tell an untruth. I believe George Washington said that.
Yeah, George Washington once said. As George Washington once said during his Gettysburg Address during the Civil War, I like big butts, and I cannot lie.
And
I cannot tell a lie.
Cannot tell a lie.
He cannot tell a lie because he's such a nasty physical beast.
I like butts and thighs. I cannot tell a lie. This I saith on the day of independence.
Day of Independence Day. Yeah. That's what he said. That's what he said. I'm pretty sure it's in the history books. Just to look it up.
If it's not, I'm putting it in there.
He's just a nasty physical beast. He had no choice but to lead the revolution.
He had to cross the Rubicon.
I'm George Washington's top guy. Oh, what am I going to do? Washington chose me to lead the revolution. What am I going to do?
Oh my God. Were we talking about something?
Were we covering a video?
Yeah, I think we were.
Because I forgot.
Some sort of video, something. I don't know.
Video. A little appetizer.
Yeah, apparently fans aren't destroyed.
Little chow. we have copies of the styles there on the place. You have a dog,
coming in.
a chow.
What if copies of Star Wars out? You got a little Chewbacca.
A Baby Yoda.
A little baby. No
Han.
Oh my God! Do you like what's that?
They listen to the Cantina Band.
Yeah,
do you listen to the Cantina Band?
Do you like Cantina Band?
And you know that music is actually officially called Jizz. So you just listen to Jizz Band.
The jazz in Star Wars is called Jizz.
Yeah, jazz in Star Wars is called Jizz. So he's listening to the Jizz Band.
Alan?
In '87.
In ABY.
Smooth Jizz.
I'm actually having to look up the Max Rebo held it in 24 BBY. Max Rebo band released this. Jizz.
Do you like Max Rebo and the what are they called?
It's not only about the pleasures of conformity, but it mentions about the band itself.
It's not about the pleasures of the empire and conformity. It's about the band's expression of galactic politics itself.
Oh, jeez.
There has to be this Cantina Band. What was the Cantina Band called? There must be some kind of external law or something in Legends where they actually named it.
That'd be really awesome, because then he's going to ask first, do you like jizz? Yeah, the earlier was a little too new wave for my taste, but when
that's got to be like the worst pickup line you could ever use on a girl. It's like, hey, do you like jizz?
Oh.
Do you like listen to it?
When their album Pod Racing came out in '87, I think they really came into their own commercially and artistically. The whole album has a clear, crisp sound and a new sheen of consumer professionalism. It really gives songs a big boost. We need a Star Wars version of American Psycho. That'd be perfect. It's just what's his name? Instead of Patrick Bateman, it's just like what's his Adam Driver's character, Kylo Ren. Is this Kylo Ren? But like in his private time. So like in his private time, he's just inviting over stormtroopers. He's like sir, why do you have copies of the Star Wars of the place? You have a pet Wampa or something like that? A Womprat? No, I don't. Do you like jizz? Does it hurt? When he hits him with an axe or lightsaber or something like that, he's like, it does it hurt?
I like that.
I've got the real names of the actors who played the Cantina band, but not the fucking band itself. There's got to be some law. Come on.
Can we get to this video? Us do?
Yes.
No.
Star War kill.
Look, we need to keep talking about jizz.
I talk about jizz all the time with my friends. I don't need to at this juncture.
Talk about it. Listen to it. Taste it.
Mad Ghost 4. I haven't seen the second season yet. Should I? I have no idea. Should anyone see the Mandalorian?
If you like the first one, you'll probably enjoy it. It's something which you can probably enjoy, but again, it has issues, lots of issues, hell of a lot of issues. But not abysmal or not insulting anyway.
Here's Das Stein. The Galactusists are kidnapping Baby Yodas and extracting the
Not extracting Baby Yoda's plural, a single Baby Yoda. They're trying to extract his blood to stick it in other people. And that's all we know. We don't know if they're making Jedi yet, for all we know. We just know that they're taking blood from the baby and they're sticking it into people.
This is stupid.
Reasons.
Yeah.
What is it with these people with blood? Like, what was that the plot from the Wrath of Khan ripoff that they made? Star Trek Into Darkness?
Into Darkness, yeah.
And, yeah, they inject people with his blood and suddenly they're better.
And it brings them back to life from death.
Because he's genetically superior. This is why we have to harvest the Aryan genes, so that we can inject it into people and create a race of super beings. I
love how just injecting his blood into you means that all of a sudden you just come back to life. Like, what if you're not the same blood type?
No, there's no
if his genes are different.
Space magic, wizards, children. Movie for kids.
That wouldn't affect his existing organs and blood cells. And
you don't even know. Okay, it's too far above you. Okay, it's intelligentsia. It's just so amazing.
So extracting the midichlorochrome from their pineal glands, I have the whole case. These people are Sith.
I love it. Yes, absolutely. That's why the Sith are a bunch of child molesters, or the Jedi. I don't know, either one.
Here's Dolomaticus. You can tell how much quality this video is because we have talked about everything else but this paste-eating Mongoloid.
Mongoloid, I agree.
We're just waiting. We're waiting for a point to be made, aside from him meandering about technology.
Maybe there won't be a point. Maybe he's just being a bit of a cunt.
Maybe the points are the friends we met along the way.
Maybe points like the sun.
Yeah, you have to believe
it's the
in the
great
points.
journey of the Smudcast is that every video we've covered has just led to being friends with who we're only really like kind of acquaintances. We're not.
It's not about the. It's not about the. It's not about the ending. It's not about the destination. It's about the journey.
Look,
the
guys,
journey
I
is what
don't
guides
not
us.
like you. There you go.
We must digest all this shitty Star Wars content.
It's about fighting what you love or killing it if you have to.
Yeah. If you love the past, and
it's
you have
what
to kill
killing
it.
what other people love, and then that's it.
What happens if I want to kill? If I have to save what I love, but that means killing the past? What do I do?
Save the future.
Oh.
Well, no, killing your past is okay, according to everyone who watches the film.
I don't know what to do anymore.
Boogie298 thinks that killing your past is a great idea.
Oh, yay.
Well, yeah, I mean, he took out all of his teeth and replaced them. So that makes sense. He is a bionic man. He would do that.
He did what?
He got all his teeth taken out and replaced with like they had put in the screw-in thing, and then you get these fake teeth. I don't know what they're called.
Why did he do that?
George Washington. What do you call fake teeth? I don't know.
Dentures?
Anyway, no, I don't think they're dentures because the dentures you glue
Implants?
in. I think that they're called something. It's a
Robo teeth.
No, yes, he's got robo teeth like Jaws from James Bond.
Did he have a problem or something? Like, why did that? That's a strange.
Yeah, he never. Well, you really want to know? Well, he never. When he was growing up, his family was really poor at teaching him hygiene and stuff, so he never brushed his teeth. He just used mouthwash. So then, eventually, at a certain point, he had like 11 points of infection in his teeth because brushing them hurt too much.
Wow.
So when he finally went to see a dentist, he had all these rotten teeth and stuff. I had to get them replaced. And now he's got big shiny porcelains.
He's got nice veneers.
Nice. There you go. Veneers. That's what it is. Great. But they're like bolted in. It's pretty crazy. Brush your teeth, kids. Don't forget to floss, or I'm gonna come and just whack you in the middle of the night with a sharpened stick. Not stab you, but just smack you on the knuckles. And you're like, "Ow, that really hurt." And I'm like, "Yeah, because you didn't floss." I know you didn't.
I just want to imagine like Boogie would just walks into the dentist and he's like, "Hey, look, my teeth hurt a little bit. Could you maybe help me?" And then it's like, "Oh shit! Holy fuck! What the fuck have you done to?" I'm sorry, I can't fix this. These are all gonna have to go. Every single one of them.
That's probably what happened, literally.
Like this is irredeemable. I can't do anything.
This video is so good. We're talking about Boogie's teeth.
Much more interesting than any of the points Sky hasn't made.
Very riveting.
This guy's amazing.
Right, let's keep going, guys.
Again, maybe it would be better to cover his last video, which is actually about Star Wars fans killing Star Wars, where this is Star Wars fans keep killing Star Wars, where he responds to another Star Wars fan who is criticizing him and his shitty argument, and not actually responding to any arguments he's putting forward.
Have watched this, watched it to the end. I do not think Star Wars is dead. I love where Star Wars is. I love the movies, and I will continue to praise the movies. I will buy the movies. I will support the franchise. I will do whatever I can do to keep this franchise going. And Disney and Lucasfilm, they're going to cater towards the fans like me who enjoy this, because they're going to cater towards the people who
have no standard.
Work. This is a fandom that has been
will buy it if it has a Star Wars emblem on it.
The middle. They need to be able to make stuff that they know people are going to react well to. Sure, maybe they could address some of the criticisms. I don't think The Last Jedi is a perfect movie. I think it has flaws, but I still love it in spite of that. The same way that I love the original trilogy, even though that has massive flaws as well, and we need to understand that. Yes, Lucasfilm or Disney can kind of sit back and address a few criticisms, but again, the criticism needs to be done in a mature, level-headed way, and not.
I just want to imagine that someone just kind of comes along and puts a Star Wars sticker on a bit of shit. I want to know how many Star Wars fans will unironically buy that literal shit because it has a Star Wars sticker.
I quite a few. Well, anyway, people who like Last Jedi probably.
It's subjective.
Like the ones who really defend it.
All your movies. That's not the way to do it. I, again, do not think Star Wars is dead, so I am not personally blaming anyone for the death of Star Wars. The point of my video
you make a title saying fans have killed
on
Star Wars.
You to kind of make up your decision about where you stand. If you don't think Star Wars is dead, then
it was the abused wife who made her husband angry.
Move on with your life and just kind of be content with the place that everything is.
Again, the best way I can infer a lot of the way that fans say that Star Wars is dead is it often I think it often means that it's dead to them. Like, as in, like, they just can't support it anymore. They can't enjoy it. They can't continue to keep consuming it anymore.
I wish this guy would stop victim blaming. Okay, it's not Star Wars fans' fault that Star Wars is dead. They should have made some at least adequate productions.
It's not my fault. Well, I'm not doing a good enough job then.
You know, if it was a well-written film, if it was fantastic, if it was flawless, and then the fans still hated it, you know what? You'd have a point. But this isn't the case at all. It is absolutely abysmal. There are so many issues with it.
It was Star Wars. All it had to do was be all right. All it had to do was be okay. It didn't have to be like these phenomenal masterpieces of cinema. All they had to do was be okay. As passable films that made sense, respected the lore, and had good characterization, and had some cool explosions and lightsaber fights. But they couldn't even do that.
Nope. Couldn't do that at all. Ever.
Star Wars is mine.
They couldn't even do lightsaber fights.
How dare you?
But if you do really believe that Star Wars is dead, you need to put a microscope on yourself and on the other fans who tiraded against the movie, who harassed the creator, and who harassed and hated on the other fans for liking it.
Wait, you and the other are implying that you have somehow done all these terrible actions.
So
but wait a minute.
If I think Mass Effect is dead, like because of Andromeda was such a bad game, I have to look at the people who are bashing the game for being bad, why it's dead. Are you serious? What is this ex post facto argument? After the fact, this has all occurred. Look at the people criticizing it for being a pile of shit. That's why it's a pile of shit. No. What a bizarre statement.
Need to kind of own up for some kind of responsibility to go, okay, well, what we did in the past did have an adverse effect on what is happening now. And you need to go, well, maybe we shouldn't have done that. And maybe we shouldn't continue to do it. But no one's getting that message. That's the message I wanted to put out there. You need to realize that what has happened in the past can't continue in the future if you want good things. And as I say, and as John...
If you want good things, endlessly consume terrible things. Until they maybe come up with something good.
What is that? What? If you want that to be the case, then again, stop making Star Wars movies. Because Star Wars is the past. It's not the future. It's from 1977.
But you can't change the future without making decisions based on experience. Past.
If you accept nothing but mediocre shit, it's just going to get the same. Because you've set the level that's acceptable.
If you don't reflect on anything to see how learn anything.
Voice, you cutting out.
Yeah, stop it. It's my job.
Sorry. Can you hear me?
You said you don't learn anything, you don't reflect on anything, and then you cut out.
If you're constantly looking to the future instead of the past, you're never going to get the chance to reflect on what you've done, and therefore you won't learn anything to do anything different in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Stupid statement is stupid.
But you shouldn't accept like mediocre shit or even crap, because if you accept this, then you have set the bar of standards, and that is constantly where the bar is going to go to. They're never going to bother to make it anything more than either meh or terrible. And at that point, it's like, well, what do you want? Do you want good films? Do you want things that are well written? If you want things that are good and well written, don't accept this shit. Don't accept terrible games, and they won't stop giving you terrible games. They'll work hard to give you good games, or they'll fail. It's up to them at this point. If they stop producing things that are good, then people are going to stop wanting to consume whatever they're putting out. It's just a fact.
This sounds more and more like off-the-cuff, 20-second reaction to folks' philosophy of something. I don't know what yet, but he's just trying to make an analogy or some sort of moral. It's like, dude, get your points figured out first before you start talking about them, because he's been rambling on for 20 minutes about nothing.
Yeah.
The moral is don't harass actors. Don't. I'll take that. I know all these people I haven't been harassing. I'll stop doing it.
Yeah. I will still not harass people.
People like you need to look at yourselves, and you need to stop doing all these terrible things you're doing, because you and the other fans have gone out and you have harassed. You have said very mean things. It's like, yeah, I will stop doing these mean things that I'm not doing. I will never harass a woman again.
I want to know these
that
harassers.
I didn't do in the first place.
I want to know how wrong they are. What are they actually saying? Give me a harasser who said some stupid shit or whatever, and let's hear his arguments. It seems fair. If they're horrible people, they must have horrible ideas, right? Let's see. Maybe they have amazing ideas. Maybe their fixes or their criticisms are accurate. Like he's not giving us anything. Just point to a character. Give us a YouTuber. All he gave us was John Talks, and all he did was like, I disagree. Okay. And then he's going, well, I disagree with your disagreement. Like, that's not.
Oh, well, I disagree that you disagree. Oh.
I disagree with your disagreement that I disagree with the disagreement you had about my disagreement.
I love at the beginning of the video, like they both said, he makes some good arguments. It's a good video. I just disagree 100%. And then he says, yes, this is also a good video. And is making good arguments, but I also 100% disagree. What the fuck?
Where? Yes.
Like they both just suck each other's dicks randomly. It's like, what the fuck?
Everyone's right.
I agree.
A grizzle.
I agree with that.
Shaka bruh. Hella
amazeball, soccer bra.
Hella agree with you. Hella best friends forever.
Recognized video is that I'm saying this could get to a point where there's no Star Wars movies ever again. And right now you may say, if they're going to remain in the state that they're in now, then I don't ever want Star Wars ever again. I don't care. I'd be happy.
Me neither.
Well, the thing is, if you stop being so hateful and so spiteful and so abusive towards people about these movies, things aren't...
Again, I have never been abusive to anyone about these films. You're making these statements about people abusive. Who don't like them.
If you could just swallow the swill that they shove down your gullet, then everything will be fine.
If something is bad, why would brushes. But if something is bad, why would it be, horrible of me to say, you know what, I don't want more of this bad thing?
Yeah.
If I was being stabbed, I wouldn't wish to continue to be stabbed and hope it gets better.
If only you could smile while he stabbed you in the gullet.
Please stop stabbing me, Ryan.
No, it's your fault. It's your fault. You're feeling pain
and then Ryan would look at me and say, "Stop being hateful."
Yeah, it's like if you take a moment, stop being hateful, you'll enjoy this terrible media. It's like what the fuck is this? This isn't even an argument. This is just stupid. What the fuck?
Going to change. You need to be able to critique these. You need to be able to have a conversation like me and John are having right now. You need to be civil about it.
You weren't listening
to any of
the movies.
Why am I obligated to be civil?
Having a conversation. You were not listening to any of the points he was making, and then you started talking about something completely unrelated. Well, not completely unrelated, but not anything to do with what he was talking about.
I don't think I'm obligated to be civil. I can express my discontent with the Star Wars franchise as any way I want to.
But you're evil.
If there was an actual conversation between these two people and they recorded it, that would be something to read or listen to. This is just some guy makes a video, I disagree. Some guy makes a video, I disagree, and he thinks this is a good thing, where everyone just disagrees.
Okay.
But he says, "Oh, you need to critique the film. You need to learn how to critique it." It's like that's what we're doing.
No. His problem here is that we are hateful. We're terrible people, and that's his only argument for everything. It doesn't matter if he disagrees or not. Because if we're not hateful, terrible people, then he has nothing to say anymore.
And probably also bigots of some flavor.
True. The best kind.
The best kind of bigots.
I guess because he's in Australia, therefore that's not the first
sandwich kind
reaction.
Professional bigotry available to you at your beck and call on service for a very low payment.
What was the Australian version of Vegemite? Or is it Vegemite?
Marmite.
Marmite?
Wait, what?
Mailman.
Marmite is our thing.
Okay, so it's Vegemite in Australia.
It's our shit thing.
Maybe
they have Vegemite. I don't know.
Yeast.
Australians only have Vegemite. I would know because I asked. Didn't know what it was.
You cut out.
Marmite good, Vegemite bad.
Marmite is shit.
You're Marmite.
Marmite is literal shit in a jar that someone has put in this to sell to people.
That's too far, Shiny. You've gone too far this time.
Well, if it's shit,
from my point of view, the Jedi are evil.
Shut up, you uncivil bastard. Marmite is the Vegemite of Marmites, okay?
From my point of view, the Sith are the bad guys.
I don't agree, but I agree.
If Marmite is shit, then it's some good shit. I've got a jar full of shit for you, Shiny. Spread it on your toast. Yum, 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 yum.
That was a meme.
Let's see. Non-Vitae Rex. Could you develop the bioengineering force users is bad criticism, please?
Who wants to take this?
Why is bioengineering force users bad? Oh boy.
Because
it takes away the
special.
It takes away all kinds of mystical elements if you're trying to turn it into some kind of science.
It's no longer a power that you have, it's a power you can give to anyone.
It's a force that surrounds us and binds us and
penetrates
brings us all together. Penetrate.
Well, there's
dear God.
Deeply and intently, over and over.
Yeah, it is in a sense a magic
surrounds us and
system,
penetrates
and
us, and ravishes us.
Oh, shut up!
Why do you think people hated the whole midichlorian thing so much? When
to an extent, it is a kind of magic system. So you can't make a science magic system. That removes the mysticism.
I can do whatever I want. I am the Senate.
I am the Senate.
I am the Senate, you
and the House.
sanctimonious Scrooge muffin, and I will see your end on this here shiny and glib show if you do not show fealty to the Darth Sidious Darth Vadus of the evil toxic fan brood.
I am the Senate and the Congress. And
I have been every Senate inside your head.
I was even the senator from Mon Calamari planet.
I like the idea that now I just turn up at the door like, Mr. Palpatine, I have a jar full of shit for you.
Go away. I'm being the Senate in here.
You'll like it. It goes on your toast.
Excuse me, I have a package for a Mr. Senate.
You're evil. You try this garbage.
So there is an argument to be made for having a metahuman element in science fiction or even in reality. The concept with the Force, though, is once you start breaking it down into an experiment or some sort of test that was done on someone, and it's has a very low passing rate, so there's all these people dying. It becomes this sort of eugenics experiment for the sake of it. We don't know the reason behind it. It seems, look at the plot for the new Aliens movies. Those are just strange because some crazy android wanted to make new life, and you just start experimenting. So there has to be
just created the aliens.
Yeah, it just came.
That removed any kind of mysticism around it. It's like, oh,
where did they come from? We made them. It's like, what? You made aliens? Okay, that's no longer alien, is it?
Yeah, you should. If a one major element of something is how mysterious it is, and you come up with all these ideas in your head. You don't want. There's nothing at that point which you can ever do that will ever live up to. All these kind of things which fans have came up with in their heads, and you don't want to remove these mysterious elements that people wonder about, ponder about.
That is
where did the alien come from? Who's the space jockey? Why the eggs? Does it do this, that, and the other? And we don't want. Oh, it's an alien that was actually an ancestor of humans because it broke itself down on Earth, and then how did we get the aliens? We had the goo, and then an android took the goo, and then he made an egg, and he got a scientist to stick his face in it, and then it made a xenomorph, and then things happened, and then he made more. Then somehow the space jockey had the xenomorphs in a ship.
There are some aspects from episode 1 which describes midichlorians that already were retcons or lore breaking. But they're found in all living things. So if they're found in all living things, then there should be some connection between injecting someone with force powers and having these things already present. So you have to get into the science of it. And in order to do that, you can't eliminate the thing that came before. You can't eliminate midichlorians. You can't eliminate the mysticism. Any other elements, like a cabal of men and women who are training with these things. So you can suddenly introduce an element which was previously not introduced, so long as you don't override those previous pieces of lore. You have to tie it all in together. That's a very tough thing to do. It's not impossible. You read a lot about that in fantasy. You see it in fantasy books where they go back in time with ancestors and the first fire mage of the Shannara stones or whatever lore you're using. So these things can be done. It's just very hard. You should be an author. You should be writing about this stuff. If you're so passionate about it, you'd pick up all your mistakes before you make them, obviously, because you would be ensconced in these ideas. But I don't think a show such as The Mandalorian, especially a series such as Star Wars, should focus on these elements, because you're breaking the mysticism as well as the mystery of what a space opera is supposed to be. Like look at the space opera with the fifth element. How the hell did Lilu come about? She's a superior being. How is she a superior being? She was genetically and mechanically created out of nothing. Does that make sense? I don't think so. We don't need to know the details, though. It's not important. So we just need to know she's a superior being and she can dropkick anyone's ass.
So they'll compare that kind of... We're talking about... There's different kinds of mystery, because compare that to the mystery box. That is something you don't want to do.
That is...
Because that is taking... Because there's a difference between an element in a story which is a bit mysterious, like an alien or a certain power, or this, that, and the other. And then there's a difference between an entire section of your story which you are paying attention to. It's like, oh, what's the answer going to be? Oh, we don't know. It could be anything. Anything could be in the box. Oh, there's nothing.
The concept of the mystery box, I think LitDev did a fairly decent video on it. It's still a half-baked explanation of what the value of a plot is and the driving force of keeping the interest level of the audience available, meaning what's behind the next door, what's the next plot hook, and you need that sense of mystery, but you actually have to address it. You have to say, you can't have, like, imagine a fisherman with
it's bringing up a question, and you have to answer that question if it's going to be very important to the story.
Yeah, it's like having 5 or 4 or whatever number of hooks on a fishing line, and you're trying to reel in all these fish at the same time, and you can't just forget about them, or else you're going to like, what did that thing we were doing an hour ago?
Though in comparison, you don't really need to explain the Force to make the story of A New Hope work. You don't need to explain who the space jockey is. You don't need to explain the origin of the alien.
Right.
They explain what the Force is.
No, I mean, like, you don't need to explain, like, it's midichlorians in the blood and all that kind of shit.
Mysticism
that's horseshit.
And the
that's
philosophy
what I meant.
Was
I mean, like, what isn't in a power, but not like what creates it, where it comes from, blood in the Force and bacteria, whatever.
Right. That was a retcon for whatever reason. I think that was the goal of Lucas's sequels. Was he wanted to make this microscopic world of the Force and explain things. I get that, but it was never supposed to go that way. We wanted to be a mystical philosophy that was taught to Luke, that we could appreciate, understand his journey, that there's this crazy old green dude teaching us about life. And it's like, oh, I need to accept my feelings and embrace all the thoughts I have and focus, which is a fair enough statement to apply to life. So whether it's a mystical power that makes you telekinetic is just cool storytelling, because you get to see a little green dude move a spaceship around. So that's all it had to be. And that was enough. And once you start introducing new elements, you really got to be careful not to step on your toes or the previous toes of the other story. Anyway, let's get back.
Don't against them. Don't hate on people for liking them or for loving them. Don't call people names because they have a different opinion to you. Respect all opinions.
But that's
if you
so
want
fun,
your
though.
Opinions
Respect all women.
Yeah.
Respect all.
What if the women are morons? Can we call the women morons? Is that?
No, that's
To respect the woman.
No women, no kids.
What?
No women, no children.
I mean, I respect women just as much as I respect anyone, which is I don't respect them at all.
Oh, got him.
Equally disrespectful.
Yes.
Extra respect.
Look,
women.
I don't respect idiots. There you go.
I extra respect all women, and if you don't, you're evil.
I think women who are dumb are beautiful, and I think women who are dumb are trying to argue with me about lore. Well, that's exactly what they are.
Women are so beautifully stupid.
Just blatant misogyny. Blatant.
Respected. be civil. I know that is just, we're so far beyond reasoning with anybody. No one's ever going to agree. And even me and John, I mean, you and I, mate, we don't agree 100% on everything, but at least I can respect your opinion and you can respect mine.
Fucking ramble.
What fans need to be able to
Just
do
random
in
shit.
order to kind of,
make a script.
see any kind of change happen. And I
What
welcome
change?
I love.
You know, if you're going to like make a video like this,
Have a point.
Basic level. Have a point. Get some evidence for that point. Explain it, and then maybe expand upon it. It's PEE paragraph.
That, but I welcome change, and I'm all
No, you
for
don't.
bigger and better movies. And going into the future, I know it's a big ask,
Well, obviously
but
not.
the
You're
hate's
just
gotta stop.
asking
The hatred
us
has
not
to
to
stop. If
make
you
a
want things to
change.
change, you got to be civil about it. Because the
Why
film-
do we have to be
God,
civil about
civil
it?
with the civil with the civil again.
We need a positive space, guys. Positive space.
Didn't he just say that we should just let them do their thing and not interfere with backlash? How do we expect bigger, better films if we let them continue doing what they're doing and not,
No, but
say,
guys,
hey,
we
maybe
should
do
really
something else?
enjoy. We should all enjoy Halo 5. It's a piece of dog shit, but we should all just, suck its dick and really,
and just
Disgusting.
really try to.
I don't agree. I think that just do the opposite of what this man says. And
Yeah.
For fun. For the lulz.
filmmakers aren't going to listen or reason with people who are acting like a child throwing his dummies and his rattles out of the car because he's had enough.
Oh, like
lot
a
of people
child
have been
who's
using this
rambling
analogy that
on a
is,
fucking
if a
video.
chef cooks me a meal that I don't like, why would I blame the other
food
people in the
analogy.
restaurant or blame myself for a bad meal? No, you wouldn't. You would go up to the chef and you would reasonably say to him, I didn't like this meal.
No,
This is
what
you
I would
better in the
do
future." I'm like,
is I would go to the chef, say, "This lasagna fucking sucks." I would throw it in his face and storm out. That's what I'd do.
Why are you cooking? You're not even good at cooking. Oh my god.
But
Why are you
apparently,
cooking? This tastes like shit.
apparently the other patrons are the ones that at fault here. But
But that's a terrible analogy. That would be like me and Smud going to Jedi. I'm coming out of it, and Smud goes, "I fucking hated." Punches me in the face. It's like that'll show you, mate. Like, dude, what the fuck? I hated it too. We consumed the same thing. It's like, yeah, but it's your fault.
You ruined
Disney's
Star
fault.
Wars.
That's why I'm
You
punching
ruined
you.
Star Wars.
oh, that guy. Oh God.
That was a terrible
ruined Star
analogy.
Dude, there's a Hoover in your background.
You are the one who ruined Star Wars, Neo. You can lead us all to victory.
What is it? I don't understand what this guy is saying with his weird high up door handle.
Back maybe. Whatever. You just kind of say, look, mate, this wasn't a good meal. You're doing it in a reasonable way, right? What you guys are doing,
Right.
to use your
Okay,
analogy,
but then you've got to also add into the fact that Ryan Johnson has acted like a complete petulant child on Twitter. That's constantly attacking fans, never ever being reasonable to actually listen to criticism, say, "Oh, I've never heard a valid criticism about my film," and these people are just children. I'm gonna keep insulting them and constantly making stabs at them all the time.
if you have any grievance back in the day before the days of our dark COVID world, if you had any problems with a meal at a restaurant and you said, "I didn't like this," a good restaurant would immediately take it back and not charge you. Immediately. There would be no it's so competitive. So compare that to the Disney $1 billion dream machine. They don't care. Who cares? Who cares what one critic has to say with all these wonderful points? Who cares that we extend our hands in friendship to the Goldman and all these other people out there? Say, hey, let's talk about the thing you love and argue and learn. And they go, no, I'm too busy. Or, oh, I'll see you next week or the week after or the week after.
I remember restaurants before the dark times.
I know.
Before
the
COVID.
Empire.
Before
the
the
China
COVID
virus.
took over.
Before the China virus.
You can't call it the China virus. It came
That's
from
racist.
China. It came from China.
No, of course not. I have freedom.
That's racist, voice. Don't call it the China virus.
You can't call it
That
the
might-
China virus, but it comes from China.
Exactly.
Excuse me, it comes from China.
We still call the Spanish flu the Spanish flu.
Yeah, for
No
some
one
reason
likes
that's not racist.
but no one cares about Spain. So It's the Mexicans. People care more about Mexicans than they do about Spain.
I don't know. Their seafood's amazing, so I kind of like them.
Well, no,
Yeah, I care about
the
them.
Mexicans are a victim class. The Spanish are not.
Well, where do you think Sherry comes from?
Oh, no.
Before the COVID nation attacked.
Whoa, now. Are we watching a video? Can we get this over
Yeah.
with? I'm trying.
I prefer just having a laugh
No.
I like.
rather than watching this video.
Laughing is forbidden.
We're on the freeze frame right now. He's like, I'm giving you my opinion.
Well, I don't live in New York or California, so I can still have fun.
You know, maybe this is a good time to bring up. We should watch the Lego Holiday Special.
No, that's a piece
Together,
of
yes.
shit, and I don't want to.
So was Lower Decks. We watched Lower Decks.
But I didn't want to
tell me
either.
this is going to be.
Mm.
All
But
right,
you were
guys,
there. You
guys.
sat through it.
I won't be there for this holiday special. I'm
Come
not
on.
making the same mistake
Guys,
twice.
Where's your
We're-
Christmas
we are
spirit?
watching-
Come on.
I am the Christmas.
We are watching a
I
good
am
film.
the Christmas.
It's called
I am Yow.
It's called The Terminator. Everyone voted, and we still haven't set a date yet.
Yep.
So that's our next on our
Sunday. How about
Let's-
Sunday?
Sure, let's do
Sunday.
one at a time. Okay.
No.
After that, we'll
No.
have another vote of. We'll ask the people again what we should watch.
I don't think the system works.
It works great. What are you talking about?
I love them.
Oh, that was a Star Wars reference, but hey.
Oh,
No.
anyway, Sunday it is. That's fine. Let's go.
You're getting a meal that you like and you're throwing it across the room in a fit of rage,
No,
running
I'm not.
around the restaurant like
No,
crazy,
no,
going
no,
to
I'm like,
other
this is shit,
people
and
in the
I
restaurant
just
who
walk out
like
the
the
restaurant.
food, saying you're a idiot for liking this food. Why the do you like this food, you
No, we don't care.
soy boy?
No.
So-
And then running over
This is
to the
Gordon
next
Ramsay
person,
then.
Why are you still eating this? You need to boycott this
Yeah, that
food
is Gordon
because we
Ramsay.
need.
yeah, but Gordon Ramsay's awesome.
He just called us Gordon Ramsay. We're just all Gordon Ramsay.
I love
then.
Gordon Ramsay.
Gordon Ramsay's obviously like he's just never happy. He's the most toxic fan. He's killing the restaurant. Gordon Ramsay's going out there and he's killing Star Wars.
That's an actually 1-for-1 Gordon Ramsay impression.
Yeah.
What is the point of swearing on your channel if you're just going to bleep it out later? You're just giving yourself extra work.
It's unfucking believable.
Either have a channel where you're okay to say to like F and blind all the time, or just write your scripts in a way that swearing is not relevant.
This is just rambling.
Fucking, I could tell that is terrible, but still, why would you? It's just extra work.
Anybody have any extra cocaine?
Uh,
And also, this analogy doesn't work
Got some
either
depth
because
to it.
everyone else in the restaurant will have consumed something else to you.
that is true.
They won't all have had the same terrible lasagna.
That's like going to a cinema and then just someone else who's walking out of another screening, you just all of a sudden start getting in their face and attacking them.
Yeah, it's you went to go see Star Wars, someone else went to go see Guardians of the Galaxy, and then you start complaining about Star Wars and how they shouldn't have liked it. It's like, I didn't watch that film. What are you on about?
You're the reason why
That's your
Star
opinion.
Wars is ruined. You ruined it,
I ruined it.
and you hurt my feelings.
Where's the lamb sauce?
Fucking raw!
The sequel trilogy's raw.
I keep reminding myself of that Oral Knots skit when Kylo Ren's watching the trailer to episode 8. Why is everything so raw?
To let the restaurant know that the food is they need to make better food. And then you run up to the chefs, the people running the restaurant, and you go, you, I hate you, I'm boycotting everything you do. You ruin my life, you ruin my childhood. You're
This is a
all...
very
You know what
long
we need?
and unfunny skit.
We need exactly what he's saying. We need a Gordon
This was a
Ramsay
skit.
sort of character to go up to Disney and do exactly what he says. Because maybe they'll listen.
Gordon Ramsay debates or debunks Star Wars.
Well, it's one of those guys
Ryan.
where you have to respect
are you?
this sort of character because he's so world renowned. He has all these restaurants. He knows food. He can go up to someone and say, your food is shit because of XYZ. And he's right.
Just imagine like Gordon Ramsay goes up to Ryan Johnson with some bread. It's like, you're an idiot sandwich. What are you?
Yeah, like Scorsese or something. Just do that. And he'd be like, oh my God.
Imagine if Gordon Ramsay was a movie reviewer instead of a food reviewer.
Yes,
awesome.
and he had the actual directors and the writers of the film next to him.
Oh God, it's raw.
Well, maybe you guys have been watching the
Fucking
American
pieces of shit.
the American Kitchen Nightmares, but the UK version is very good. Like all the
Yeah, they're both
non-American
really good.
shows are great. When it comes to cooking in America, it's terrifying. Hell's Kitchen, Master Chef, Chopped, they're all really America terrified. They hate you. But Australia, they're the nicest. South America, Italy, maybe not so much. They're okay there. But the UK is great. Like they're all really nice people. They want you to do better. And Ramsey is actually very helpful, even though he screams a lot. But that's because the conditions are disgusting.
It's it's a bit of a caricature he puts on as well, but yeah.
Yeah, I agree. But he's been doing it for so
I
long.
love it when he goes to like the kids programs. You expect like he's gonna have to just try and stop himself from swearing every 5 minutes.
No, he's great.
But he's like really nice
He is
and
super
kind
nice.
and polite, and he's like really wholesome.
Are we done with this video yet?
Hey, don't
Almost.
cry. Don't cry. Come on, don't cry. We're cooking here. It's a good time. Please don't get upset. He gives the kid a hug, and then it's just hard cut to him screaming at this 30-year-old, "You're fucking worthless.
You're making me cry right
Who
now.
made you a chef? You're fucking garbage." But you know the reason why is obviously they're 30-year-olds. They should know better.
They should be
they're
able to take it. And also, if you're
They're
not
making
cooking,
mistakes that childs make.
yeah, and
they're doing
then
this for a
you're
profession.
also risking people's lives as well. If you are not preparing food correctly, that can cause food poisoning, which can be very severe in some cases, depending on how severe it is.
I don't know why I'm fighting Gordon Ramsay's corner. He's more than capable of doing it himself, but you know.
We respect
What is-
Gordon Ramsay.
what
He
the
can fight his own battles.
Shut the fuck up about Gordon Ramsay. Let's get this video over with.
Everything kind of in a nutshell. That's kind of how I'm perceiving everything here. If you want to use that analogy, you need to take that really seriously. So, guys, I'm going to go back to one more point that John had to say right here.
But yeah, I'm not so sure that I want George Lucas back either. I don't think that George Lucas is the answer. At this
Neither
point,
do I.
I think Disney's decision-making process in terms of picking people to do these films needs to be a lot more thorough.
John
Okay,
Favreau.
I agree. George Lucas being out of the picture is probably not the worst thing. But again, I would have really liked to have seen his 9-movie arc completed. While I do love the movies that we have now, I still just kind of wonder what these would have been like had he been involved, or had
Maybe there'd be
Disney
actual
and
sequels.
Lucasfilm taken on his original treatments, his original ideas. I do kind of wonder about that. And if Disney has done anything wrong, I think that may be one thing that they have done wrong. Get him in, take his treatments, use him as a consultant, not necessarily have him as the filmmaker, but I would have liked to have seen that.
I
would
also
have
believe
loved
that
to
getting
have
rid
seen
of
it.
Kathleen Kennedy would be a good start. And since there was such a backlash with The Last Jedi, I think not giving Rian Johnson his own trilogy would also be a good start, and a way of Disney saying, look fans, we're sorry, we messed up, but we're going to try to make it right.
I don't think Disney have anything to apologize for. I don't think they need to take the trilogy off
Very
Rian Johnson
poor
because
oversight.
They have a lot to apologize for.
of the fan base didn't like The Last Jedi, because a large portion of the fan base did like it, and a large portion of audiences did like it. I don't think Disney have anything to apologize. I think
Which is why you have a 50% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, which literally means 50% of the people gave it a good review and 50% of the people gave it a bad review.
That's why you have $1 billion difference in the red between Force Awakens and Rise of Skywalker. You
It's why
lost $1 billion.
Star Wars: A Solo Story did so well, and it's why Rise of Skywalker did so well. It did terrible.
It did. You just don't like it because you're sad.
But he's ignoring the actual quality of the film to say, "Oh, the fans just didn't like it." Like it is, like he's trying to say it is a good film, but then the fans just can't accept that it is, and it's like, "Oh, look, it's terrible." They just didn't like it.
You don't understand,
True.
okay? Loads
So
of people
true.
liked it, and that means something, apparently.
Well, this was
Yeah,
done
just
in...
And you know, also a lot of people went back on liking it.
As I've said before, just eat the bugs, okay?
Oh.
Just eat.
They got nothing to apologize for. They got nothing to improve on. So what the fuck were you talking about when you were speaking about things naturally improving?
Well, again, this video is made...
If Disney's got nothing to apologize for, why should
The
we
funny-
expect them to do anything differently?
This
Funny,
Doing
the
the
funny
garbage
thing-
they've already done.
The Rotten Tomatoes score has gone down by, I believe, almost 10%. I think probably about 8%, 9%. It's now at a 40% audience score, which means that 40%. Also, 40% of the people who reviewed it gave it a positive review, and 60% gave it a negative.
Yeah, but
it's the odd. Like, the whole idea is that the majority of people liked it. It's like no.
This video was made 2 years ago, almost 3 years ago in 2018. This is before episode 9. So this is opinion of episode 8. That's all he knows. I'm sure he has a different opinion of episode 9. He could not have loved that. If this guy's so rational and so open to suggestions and ideas, I highly doubt he would have enjoyed episode 9 as much as episode 8. So,
or maybe it's like Patrick Willems, where he's going to be really overdramatic. It's like, me and Star Wars are going to have to take a break.
Oh. Yeah, well, that's a special case.
Patrick Willems is a special case. I will agree with you there.
Disney just should keep doing what they're doing, take on some advice, take on some criticisms, but again, just keep turning a blind eye to the people who are being hateful and spiteful and just really, really mean-spirited, just so unpolitically correct. I mean,
you guys have got to stop being mean.
We need to be more politically correct.
So mean, you guys.
It's politically incorrect to be mean to anyone. Just wanted you to understand. If you're being mean, you've got bad politics.
You've got to carve out half of your humanity.
I think you're kind of toxic.
Yeah, that's cool.
Disney have got nothing to apologize for.
Why don't we just go into the world of equilibrium? We just suppress all of our emotions.
Oppress all of our emotions.
Yeah, oppress all of our emotions. Nobody throws a tantrum. Nobody gets angry. And nobody insults anybody because nobody can feel anything.
You know, he could have.
Isn't that odd?
Yay!
If that's the thing he wanted, he could have gone the simple argument of doing a list of logical fallacies and said, "Don't get emotional, don't swear, don't insult your opponent, yada yada yada," and be like, "Oh, that's where you're coming from. Okay, sure, let's go with that." And then he present his evidence and present his case again.
And then he makes wide sweeping statements saying that everyone who dislikes it, anyone who critiques it, it's like they're all the ones which are creating these harassments. They're all being really abusive. Yeah, stop being abusive, guys.
But to say that Disney has nothing to apologize for is like, what do you like? How do you even come to that conclusion? They're just some big monolith of a company that could do no wrong. Like really, they're not going to say, "Oh, guys, we screwed up on some of the production value of episode 9, or it was rushed," or admit something. So we know what the hell happened.
Places.
Yeah, but it's just a bizarre result we got in episode 9 to make sense of that.
I don't want to keep arguing. And look, if you want to keep spamming my page with hateful whatever, do whatever you want, because I've said my bit and this is my kind of final say on this whole thing. As far as responding and arguing with people who are being vicious in the timeline, I'm done with that. I couldn't be bothered with that. I don't want an argument. If you want to come to me like John has come to me,
don't want an argument, shut up.
Level-headed response, reply, and wants to have...
What's the point? You don't care about his opinion. You disagree with him. Just give me a level-headed response so I can disagree with you. No. What's the whole purpose of this? What a bizarre thing. If you want to be rational and say things in a level-headed manner so I can disagree with you, that's great. But if you want to be mean and say mean things while having excellent points, yeah, I don't want to listen to you either. It's like, what do you want?
You know why? It's because it's easy for him to disregard what you say if he's being mean and paints you as such.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I just double down on it. Yeah, I'm the worst ever.
I'm not going to listen
to me about anything.
I'm not going to listen to you because you're just being mean to me.
Oh, I'm just such a big
mean. There you go, I've won. See that, guys? He's being mean.
I'm so sorry about being a big meanie head.
You're a bit Irish there. Oh, I do have to apologise for being such a mean bastard.
Such a mean bastard. Sorry. I don't know how to do it, but...
You're from one town over, so I hate your fucking guts.
I hate your... My family always hated your fucking guts. You and yours. Star Wars.
You and your Star Wars fic.
the McLean Star Wars family.
Why don't we all just calm down and have a drink of Kilbeggan?
Everybody. The cantina. More like a pub. Pub?
You've ruined Star Wars.
I was trying to argue with you at the pub.
the discussion, fully up for that, but I'm just tired of dealing with people who want to hate on me, hate on the filmmakers, hate on other fans because
fucking haters
to them. Everyone's opinion counts, whether you like the movie or dislike the movie, and we need to be free and open to be
everyone's opinion counts, guys. Just keep that in mind. Oh God,
you guys gotta be stop being such haters.
Hater is a derogatory term. It is our word. You cannot use that word.
We're haters, okay? That's it's our word.
We are the haters.
I'm passionately negative. How's that?
We prefer these things in disdainful Americans.
very civil and mature way because we're all adults here. Although some of the people in these threads are not acting like it, and then just pull your heads in and just take some advice from John. John has done it in a perfect way.
Go ahead and play the smallest violin ever.
Great feedback, some great comments. John, thank you once again so much for your video.
Thank you so much.
I love that you could remain level-headed and civil, and we can have this discussion here. I really like your thoughts. I've watched a couple of your other videos, and I've really liked to hear your thoughts, your level-headed thoughts on the movie, why you didn't like it. I love it. I've subscribed.
Can I explain my thoughts of why I don't like you?
Everything you say.
No, that's mean.
Agree with what
Big
I
mean.
say,
You can't hate people, Shiny. That's a mean thing to say. How dare you say something to some random fellow online who doesn't know what he's talking about and does not respond to John in an appropriate, rational way?
People just consume things and not like things. How about
thank you responding level-headedly? You gotta be level-headed. I'm glad you were so level-headed. If you're not level, I only respond to level-headed people. Fucking shit.
But people just stop liking things and just watch movies with no passion or any sort of emotion whatsoever, and just bland.
Discuss anything.
No passion, because passion leads to the dark side.
I agree with you of 51% of what you said, but I also disagree with you 100%. I was like, what? Like, did John say anything that hit your head?
Discuss anything. He said the man said this. I have to disagree. Blah 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 blah. Thank you for being so professional and level-headed. My God, what a nothing video.
But at the end of the day, two humans are never going to 100% agree on anything.
How about 1%?
You've had this before.
How about 2%? How about 10%? Can you make 1 point, sir?
Can you make like 80%? I would be happy with
80% of a point.
Just be level-headed.
Oh right, sorry, that's my fault. My head's on a slope all the time.
I am open to hearing the other side of the coin as long as it's
level-headed.
And John, I'm giving you a subscribe because I'm really interested in what you have to say about these movies.
God, suck his dick later.
Thank you once again. And again, John's full video is linked down below. My full video is linked down below if you want to check both of them out. Just
your
get a
full
little bit
video's
of
here.
Behind this
You're full of shit.
John has some
he's got another video called Star Wars fans are killing Star Wars.
Please don't go to John's page and spam him or anything. He respectively asked his subscribers not to come to my video and do that. So I'm going to ask you guys not to go over there and do that.
I love all this etiquette. Oh, don't do this. It's like, why would you have to tell people not to do that?
Yeah, why do you have to tell? I mean, I understand back when I was with Geeks and Gamers that the reason why Jeremy had to say don't harass people is because people kept accusing him of harassment. So he had to kind of say, yeah, look, I don't abuse harassing. I don't believe any of you doing it, but I have to say it for the sake of saying it. Just so they can't say, well, I'm encouraging harassment.
I think it's fair to say if someone that follows me be's a cunt, I'm not going to defend them for being a cunt. I will go, yeah, he's a cunt.
No, but there were accusations around the time, and probably still are, that he's encouraging harassment, even though he's not actually telling people to be harassing. Even people think Maul is calling people to harass Kelly Marie Tran just by criticizing the film.
How would that even work if she's not on Twitter?
I don't know.
Instagram, rather. Yeah, whatever she disconnected herself from.
I saw someone on Twitter earlier who was complaining that Mauler just actively seeks out tweets that he posts and sends his fans after him to ratio him. But then within the tweet, he actually added Mauler, and I pointed out, dude, he doesn't have to search. You keep tagging him anyway. So your initial point about him actively hunting you down to ratio you doesn't even work because you keep putting yourself in the firing line anyway.
Here's the thing, I'm kind of retarded.
And then I got called a Mauler boy, whatever that is.
Yeah,
Mauler
boy. Stupid
Mauler
boy.
Mauler boy. I got
radio
bully.
I'm radio spwat.
Fucking Mauler radio boy. What are you, a little bitch boy?
Yep.
Clown
little
boy.
Bitch.
Little clown boy.
Listen, I want to get through this video so I can go jack off, okay? Jesus Christ, please help me through this.
Okay.
No. We're going to keep you here for as long as possible.
Yep.
Ben.
We got a minute left.
His video, and again, I just please keep it civil down in the comment section here, or else I just know that these words are not.
He's one of those guys
through
too,
to
huh?
anybody. If you're a first-time viewer of my channel, this is the first video of mine that you've seen.
Okay, that's
you'd like
everything.
to see more videos like this in the
If
future.
the whole
then
world
please
is
hit
one
that
big
old
giant
subscribe
safe
button at
space.
the end of the video and give me a little bit of support. To all my regular viewers out there, thank you once again for joining with me and sticking with me through this video.
Just fucking
to
get
everybody
over with
out there,
it.
don't forget to
Do
hit that
something.
like button down below. It does a great deal in
God,
getting my videos out there. Hope to see you all again soon, guys. Until next time.
So like-
take it easy, and may the force be with you.
Me playing
Oh,
Life is
man,
Strange.
fucking finish it!
Force be with you always. Oh God, shut up. The amount of Star Wars channels out there that end with that good old catchphrase. If I had a nickel for every time I heard one, I'd have 5 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's strange that there's 5 channels that fucking do it.
So anyway, I just want to thank all my fans, and I want to thank John Talks. I want to thank LiteratureDevil, Shiny. I just want to thank you all because this is really what makes me feel really good about myself. Just check out all my channels, YouTube, smash that subscribe, like button, end my life, and I'll see you all next time.
Let me talk about my trip to the shops for the next 2 minutes as I ramble on.
Okay, that was a big ball of silliness, but I'm glad you guys all joined. That was nice of you.
Dave Lee Down Under.
That was the only entertaining part, was his accent.
The most consistent part.
Yeah, that's true. It was always the same. I don't know where he was living.
The same voice throughout his entire video.
Yeah, I think the hand motions were okay. It wasn't too expressive, but not much to work with there. Yeah, unfortunately.
If Star Wars is being killed, Star Wars apparently isn't being killed by the fans. They're just being mean. So why do you? Because he said that this isn't the end for Star Wars, and they have nothing to apologize for. So why did you title this "The Fans Keep Killing Star Wars"?
It's just clickbait, asshole.
Yeah, the previous video was how Star Wars fans killed Star Wars. And
It's amazing. The video within itself is an oxymoron.
Yeah, and now the Star Wars is dead to me with Rian Johnson crying. I'm assuming that was recent because of Episode 9, but who knows? All these dumb titles don't reflect with the content. This is silly, and I don't know what this is. But anyway,
Hazard a guess: the Pink Panther animated one is also about Star Wars.
Anyway, that was 3 hours of nothing. Luckily, one of us was drunk. The other people were just guessing what the hell is going on in this video.
Unfortunately, I sobered up.
Oh.
I also installed Star Wars Galaxies because that's actually a really fun time to actually play.
The mobile app.
No, not the fucking mobile app. What do you think I'm, some kind of cretin? No, the MMO from 2003 to 2007.
Can you believe this guy plays mobile games?
Mobile game loser.
Fucking mobile game. No, seriously, mobile games fucking suck.
No, they're the best at making money.
I have to go now and play Fortnite on my Android.
Don't you have some kind of phone? What, you're upset that the sequel to a game which you really like is only on mobile? Don't you have phones?
Listen, man, I have a problem, and that problem is I don't have enough tokens. Okay, and that means real currency needs to be handed over so that I can.
Fuck is a mobile?
I'm quitting video games. I'm quitting Star Wars because I realized I'm ruining it by complaining. So this video, this definitely shown the light for me. You know, I love The Last Jedi now. There are no problems. Everything's okay here. We're okay. How are you?
How are you? We're rooting Star Wars by having standards. Very unfortunate.
And we get angry at people and tell them off after they've proven themselves to be morons who can't listen, who can't accept facts. Yeah, that's us. We're the ones who just sit there and just are constantly civil with all the crap we're being thrown. That's great. Yeah, that's the wonders of arguments online. I still get fans from all random. I do silly little videos that are 10 minutes long from fans of The Last of Us 2, or whenever we had Southpaw on that one time. This is a horrible stream of people who don't even know the game, making horrible arguments. And they say, "What's a horrible? Give me a horrible argument, please." And there's nothing.
Example.
Yeah, it's a joke. People say stupid things all the time. It's not to be taken seriously. If they swear at me and then give me an actual piece of something to work with, I'll be like, "Oh, you know something. Let's see what you've got," and then we could actually have a conversation. And it turns out they're too emotional to think things through. And some of them come through and say, "Oh, yeah, you're right," or "I wasn't thinking about that." It's very rare, but it does happen. It happened a few days ago, actually, on one of those videos. So there is hope for humanity once they sit down, or fandom rather, they sit down and have a talk about the thing they care about and why they care about it. And that's all you need. And once you address that, you can have a conversation. This is not having a conversation. This is why I probably won't be doing response videos unless their videos are so dumb they're entertaining in their own right. And we do this because it's fun for us. We're never going to cover the Goldman again unless he really says stupid shit. That's worthy of talking, but he's pretty
So
much,
tomorrow then.
Yeah, he's pretty much exhausted him. So I tried listening to any of that stream you guys showed me before, and I was like, oh God, not this nonsense.
Message coming in.
Oh no.
Patching it through.
I don't know if you guys saw the N7 day with Jennifer Hale and all her leftist-leaning voice actor buddies from Mass Effect. It was pretty bad.
Leftist voice actor, I think, is kind of redundant.
Yeah.
Crazy weirdos.
Yeah. I couldn't watch most of that either. Thanks.
What was happening? What were they saying? I want to know now.
Oh, I got 150,000 views. I don't know exactly the topics. There were so many people, so many random conversations, some politics here and there, obviously, but pretty cringy. I think.
The thing is, Jennifer Hale is a fantastic voice actress. She's just not very. I just stopped following her on Twitter because she's very a certain thing, which I don't want to.
They all are.
They all are. Yeah.
I don't know what it was about Twitter. It makes everyone like these all these weirdo actors and. I guess they grow their own egos to such an extent they think they're the second coming of the Messiah or something.
Yeah,
I know everything and you're all stupid.
The latest one was Ed Norton, who was rambling on about Trump's defense team being stupid or something. It's like, my dad used to be a DA. It's like, well,
yeah, his dad used to be a DA or something, a federal prosecutor or something.
Thank you.
Yeah, dad used to.
Thank you.
You're an actor.
Person. Yeah, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Please shut up. Like, what?
To paraphrase Ricky Gervais, most of you have less schooling than Greta Thunberg.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think it's time to go. Good night, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. I appreciate all your time.
Let's go watch some manga.
Watch some manga. Yeah, the animated kind of manga, my favorite.
Good.
Keep coming with the suggestions. We have so many, but eventually we'll get through some that you guys wanted like months ago. But we will be watching. We will be watching The Terminator on Sunday unless times change. But I think we can all do it. We'll pick a time. And I don't know how Voice is doing. I don't know how Joker's doing.
Oh yeah, the Mulan video is up on my channel, but it's currently unlisted because I'm having to do a copyright dispute with Disney for the second time. I have no idea how long it's going to take because Disney tend to wait the full 30 days before addressing the actual thing.
So the thing is, my experience...
It can be any day now or a month's time, basically.
Yeah. My experience with that is like I eventually just kind of gave up and just tried to trim out as much as possible with the copyright area.
Oh no, I'm sticking to my guns because if I trim out any more, I'm only going to have
voice. They take so fucking long, and even at the end, they could just say, "Nah, we're keeping the the block or be wanting to take the video down. Otherwise, we're going to like permanently strike your channel.
If they do
Even
that,
if it,
I'm gonna
even if
I'm
it's
gonna
fair.
do the editing. I'm gonna do the editing on the video anyway, so I down version for if they say no. But I'm not gonna do any changes until I get feedback first.
Even if it's fair, they can still just stick to their guns and say, no, we're not releasing the copyright thing, and if you keep disputing it, we're going to put a strike against your channel.
Well, we will have to see. Yeah, I will not fall so easily. Also, planning to hopefully do a little bit of a stream tomorrow, 4 o'clock UK time. For the first time, I tested a little bit earlier. It seems to all be working quite nicely. So if you want to join me, I'm just going to discuss things with people. Hopefully have a couple guests on. I think Zofrat said she wanted to come on to talk for a little bit. It's just going to be playing Pokemon and just talking to the audience. Nothing YouTube reacting to stupid videos. There are plenty of places to do that. So yeah, if you want to go do that, 4 o'clock UK time, I'll see you there.
Fantastic.
I won't be drunk. Hopefully. Well, I don't know. It's maybe.
Well, then you're just taking away the main appeal.
Everyone
I'll
subscribe
be
to
drunk.
Voice on the Radio. Bully him.
Please.
Bully
me to
stupid
drink.
YouTube channel. Look at that little, what is that, little tiny YouTube channel? You call that a YouTube channel? You gotta work on those rookie numbers, kid. Where's your million subscribers, huh? Where's your Game Fuel flavor? I don't see shit.
So yeah, I'm doing a Pokemon Nuzlocke starting tomorrow. Hopefully stream will go well. If not, well, it's the first time and this is how you learn from failure. I'm going to hopefully have a couple people on to chat to and chat with the audience, so join me then.
All right.
Get in there, boys.
And LitDev, what are you doing with... are you still going on with the whole... was it duology? What is the biology? What is the... Life is something. LitDev?
LitDev, are you doing the next Life is Autism?
Yeah.
Life is Pain?
I have
Life is
part 2 or
Suffering.
something.
Oh, you're doing part 2. Okay, I thought it was the DLC. All right, cool.
I did the original game, the prequel already, and now I'm left to do part 2.
Oh dear.
However, that
Which looks just as boring and as shit as the first one.
It does.
I'm not kidding. I tried to watch like a commentless playthrough of it, and I was just so fucking bored. It's so slow.
All right, Voice. Well, once you're done playing Pokemon, Andrew's recommending Chain of Memories. So.
Maybe.
Oh dear. Good speed. Godspeed and good luck. My God, don't.
Message coming in.
Oh.
Patching it through.
I don't know how you're going to play that, but it's not
for a couple shekels.
Maybe. Yeah, they might do it. They might give it to you. It's not for everyone, though. Anyway, let's call it a night. Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you real soon.